The total number of delegates in the room credentialed right now is 135. We need 68 for a majority. We need 89 delegates for a supermajority. We need 14 delegates for a standing second.
Yes.
Question, since people register for the day and we had 136 delegates before, how did it come down to 135 since I don't think you can unregister?
We had a delegate come and cross his name off and uncredential himself specifically.
You can't do that.
Alicia?
So under Roberts, it's based on the number that initially registered, regardless of how many have left.
Even if somebody specifically says they leave? Okay.
Roberts, yeah.
In that case, we will, I believe the numbers stay very similar with 135 versus 136. So, point taken that it's 135, not 130, or 136, not 135. Okay, so the next order of business is we go on to the elections of the Northern Area Coordinator. And I will be taking first nominations and then we'll go to speeches if there's more than one. So nominations are opened. Come to the microphone, please.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is John Ferrero. I am the Alameda County Chair, and I'm nominating Brandon Nelson. I'll keep this really brief.
I think this is a point of information.
Yes.
Are only the northern counties
Yes.
nominating and voting on this one?
Correct.
And can we get a list of which ones those are? Because I'm not sure where the...
Okay, so on each badge, it says if you're north, south, or central.
Okay.
As the tellers take the ballots, they will be ensuring that the person is from the right area.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, are there any additional nominations for Northern Area Coordinator? Hearing none. These work a little These work the same as the officers, except for the time is lesser. So it's only a 5-minute speech for the candidate, and it can be 5 minutes combined for the nominator and the seconder. So does somebody want to? We've only got one candidate. Do you want to make speeches? Okay. We've waived the speeches, so that means that we are going to go on to a vote. He's right. Oh, can the candidate at least come up and say hi?
Why, hello there.
And you're ceding the remainder of your time.
I am. Thank you.
Thank you. Excellent. Okay, so we're going to go on to a vote. In this case, we've only got one candidate, so it will be by acclamation, either the candidate Brandon Nelson or Noda, as always is an option. All those that are in favor of, or all those for Brandon Nelson, please say aye. Aye. Keep in mind, only people from the north. All those in favor of Brandon Nelson, please say aye. Aye. I'm counting that those are north. All those for Noda, please say aye. Aye. Okay, Brandon, you have won. Congratulations, you are our new Northern Area Coordinator. Next, we will go on to nominations for Central Area Coordinator.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Point of personal privilege, that was nothing personal. I just don't want to vote for anybody that I know nothing about.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Nominations for Central Area Coordinator.
I nominate Justin Quigley for Central Area Coordinator.
Nice. And is there a second? Okay, and you are from Central. Are there any additional nominations for Central Area Coordinator? Hearing none, we have one candidate. I will say again that we have the same situation where the nominator and seconder can use 5 minutes, and the candidate or the nominee can have 5 minutes. Is there a nomination speech?
No.
Okay.
I just came up to say hi, just like she asked of Brandon, so you can all see me. I'm going to just keep doing the same stuff I've been doing. So you guys are voting on if you want to give me a bigger title or not. So, cool. I'll keep trying to work for liberty.
Thank you. Okay, once again, this is going to be by acclamation. You all have to be on Scout's honor that you will only say something if you are in the central region or central area. And NOTA is always an option. All those who are for Justin Quigley, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those for NOTA, say aye. He won unanimously. Congratulations, Justin. And I do believe, so this brings us to the next nomination, which is for Southern Area Coordinator. And I do believe that to nominate, do I have to get down, or can I do it from here?
Probably should have someone on the chair.
So for a moment, I am handing the gavel to our to our newly elected but still Northern Vice Chair. I am nominating Wendy Hewitt for the Southern Area Coordinator. She has 5 years on the Calamasa Chamber of Commerce. She's very active in her local politics. Believe it or not, she gave thousands upon thousands of hours to the Jeff Hewitt campaign. She's a consensus builder, and she really is about being respectful for all and a good activist. I've personally worked with her for the last 2 years. I met her before that when I was a candidate. She's somebody that gets along and gets things done.
Are there any other nominations for Southern Area Coordinator? All right, seeing none. Do you want to speak?
Okay, so you have 5 minutes.
I won't take that long. Not a very good public speaker like my husband is, but I've been on the volunteer committee. A lot of you know my name, Wendy Hewitt. I send all the people that are interested in our party to your county, hoping that you will get in touch with them immediately. I've worked on that quite a bit, and since I've been on it in June, we've had well over 200 people interested. I just hope they have all reached their appropriate counties. I will work as hard as I can with this. I want to work with all the counties in my area, you know, San Diego, LA, San Bernardino, Orange County, Riverside. I have, you know, quite a few people in Riverside. You know, we have a guy that's going to be running for city council in 2020, Ricky Estrada. He's a great outreach person. He's already been to the universities. But I think if we work together, you know, as a team, move forward and try to get everybody involved. I know what it's like to get people involved, like being on the chamber. We've coordinated several events for scholarships and given out scholarships to kids. And you got to get people involved. You got to get people to come in, donate their time, donate their money. I know what that's all about. We have several great groups here in our southern areas, and I just hope I can work with all of them and move us towards more liberty. Thank you.
Okay, being that there was no other nominations, once again we are going to do this by acclamation. Once again, you have to do Scout's honor that you will only vote if you are in the southern area, and NOTA is always an option. All those in favor of Wendy Hewitt, please say aye.
Aye.
All those in favor of NOTA, please say aye.
Aye.
Wendy Hewitt, you are elected. Congratulations. I'm going to ask a question. We now go on to at-large. I believe in the last years we had the nominators and the nominees go right in line with each other, rather than all of the nominations first and all of the speeches. I do believe that's not suspending the rules to do so, is it? Because it doesn't say. Okay, so the way that we're going to do this for at-large is we're going to have the nominators and the nominees line up together at the microphone, and we are going to then have each of them in succession, and then we will go to a vote after that. And I am for a moment going to ask if anybody is going to say that Ted Brown can't take the gavel.
You know, I'm trying to listen to that guy, Ted. You know, all he's done is talk since he got back from Texas.
And he's almost got an accent now, I've noticed.
Point of information.
Yes.
Can you clarify how many spots are being voted on?
Okay.
Because there's like these staggered term things.
Actually, yes, that's a very good point, and that's a very good point of information. No, there are 4 seats that are, yes, so let me just explain this real quickly. We have 4 seats because now we have only 8 at-large. So we have 4 seats that are up for election. However, Justin Quigley was an at-large that had two-year term, and he was just elected as the area coordinator. I'm sorry? Wendy's term was up. So, again, Justin is now area coordinator, so his seat will be up for a 1-year term, which means that we will be voting for 5 at-large at this time. The lowest vote getter, and everybody has to get at least a majority, but the lowest vote getter will only have a 1-year term. Does that make sense? Okay, so I'm handing this gavel over.
Okay, thank you.
And I'm going to take it back.
Okay, so it's the candidate and the nominator and the candidate for up to 3 minutes each. Okay, let's start. First nominator and candidate. And make sure you're together. Nominator and candidate.
Okay. I nominate Joshua Smith for at-large. I look forward to working with him. He ran a great, clean campaign. He's got a lot of good things, and I look forward to the next 2 years with him.
Okay, Joshua.
Hello again. I look forward to working on the board with Mimi, and I think we can get a lot of things done. I can bring the same plan that I had that you saw me talk about up on stage. I'm up here in the north. I'm 45 minutes away from Sacramento. I will be at the state's capitol lobbying for the party. So I hope that you guys will choose me to do work here, and I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Okay, next. Yes, your point, sir. Well, both.
Because in principle, you could have 100 people running, and nobody will get a majority.
Right. Well, it's both. You have to, of course, be in the top 5, and then each one would have to get a majority. But we've often done like a voice vote afterwards, like approving that person if it doesn't appear that they've gotten a majority.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Next nomination.
All right. Hello again. I would like to nominate my friend Michael Mahoney from the South. He's a past candidate. He's a hard worker. He works with other candidates. He's well respected by people who work with candidates, and I think that that's what we need more of in this party is people willing to go out on a limb for candidates. So I'd like to nominate Mr. Michael Mahoney. Thank you.
Hello. So many of you know me, many of you don't know me, but I'm very big on candidate support. I think that if we want to be taken seriously, we have to get people elected, and the only way to get them elected is to have some kind of educational system to help the candidates navigate the craziness that is California politics.
Okay, very good. Next.
I nominate Christopher Stair, who's standing here right with me. Some of you may know Chris Stayer ran for state assembly in our last election. He got 13% in LA County in the 51st district, which is basically California. It's really hard to do well in that area, and he did great. Chris also works as at a tech startup company as a learning scientist, which will actually be a valuable skill to our party. He specializes in the psychology of test taking, and he can help us understand voter psychology and tweak our messaging so that we reach voters without compromising our principles. And I think that's a valuable skill for us. He's really good at problem solving, and he's a great writer, so I think he'd be really good on things like the membership committee, candidate support, and program committee to help us really tweak our messaging so that it's written professionally and timely and really gets our message across. Having said that, please vote for Chris. Let me pass the mic on.
Thanks, Angela. So I'll keep this brief, but like Angela said, I'm a learning scientist. I'm a psychologist working and trying to make tests that assess how good people are problem solving, but a big part of that is teaching, and it's about teaching and learning. I've worked as a teacher in the past at a university, and I'm a little bit biased, but I really do think a big part of the Libertarian Party's success going forward involves a lot of teaching and a lot of learning. I think that we, as a kind of third party that's still very small, we have a lot of learning to do. Our candidates have a lot of learning to do about how to run a successful campaign, how to navigate the system. I think we have a lot of learning to do from each other. I know one thing that really inspires me about this party is no matter who I talk to, even if I spend 5 minutes, whether it's with Jeff Hewitt or with Joshua Smith or Angela McCardle or John Jake or literally anybody here, every time I talk to them, I learn something. And not only that, but I realize how much more learning I have to do. In addition to that, we need to teach. We need to teach the public about our ideals, and we need to teach our candidates what they need to do to succeed. So I think some big areas of focus that I would like to see the executive committee pursue and I would like to help out with, like Angela said, would be helping with the program committee, helping with our platform, helping convey our message on our website very well, and also to support our candidates and help them make sure that they learn the things that they need to do to succeed. So thank you very much.
Okay, next.
My name is Terry Floyd, Alameda County, and the candidate I'd like to nominate is not here today. He was here yesterday and Friday, but he had to catch a plane to Japan this morning. So he left a speech that I could recite for him, though.
Oh, go right ahead.
Thomas Sewells from Alameda County has been coming to our meetings off and on over the past 8-10 years. And he was very active in the Gary Johnson campaign. And I had to drive a whole box of Johnson Well signs out to Livermore to meet. Well, we met halfway. He drove from Livermore. I drove to Pleasanton. And he came up to me at our last meeting and asked how he could get involved in the party and help the party some. And I told him that he could run for office at this convention. And he said he was interested in that and what would he think would be the easiest way to get in, and I suggested he run for an at-large position on the executive committee. And you have to understand Tom's an older fellow. He's retired. He says he has time to spend to help the party now that he's retired. But he's also an engineer, a very analytic mind, and he's an excellent writer. And so I'm going to try to collar him to write some more stuff for our newsletter. But he'd like to introduce himself. His name is Thomas F. Sewells. His experience. He's retired after 34 years of working for a large private company in manufacturing, and then he spent 10 years working for the government. He says the difference is stark. This is easier to read. If the government had ever made a car, it would cost a fortune and it would never work. His positions are, we must reduce the size of government. $3,000 per person per year to fund just the DOD and Veterans Administration combined for policing our world is ridiculous. And on top of that, another $1,200 per person per year to fund all the other government programs at the federal level. The number of government employees now exceeds the number in manufacturing. A country whose main export of manufactured goods are weapons of war cannot improve the standard of living of its people, nor the people they claim to be helping with these weapons. Not only does the government not produce anything, but I have seen firsthand how it wastes money and creates a culture of entitlement amongst its employees. They pretend to pay me and I pretend to work applies just to as much to the United States government as it did when the old Soviet Union originated that dole joke. If the government does nothing and those receiving government doles do not produce anything, how can we move forward? Well, we can't, and our standard of living will certainly decline. His goal: I have the time and will work hard for the only party that believes less government means more freedom and a return to the rugged individual entrepreneurial spirit that made this country. And he ends with, I strongly support the Advocates for Self-Government quiz. It was one of the most effective outreach tools ever invented. And you have to understand, Tom retired from working at Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory. He knows how wasteful the government is.
Okay. Terry, how do you spell the candidate's last name?
S-O-U-L-E-S.
Okay. Okay. Oh, and before we go on, is there a way to put, oh, you're putting the names up. Okay, good. Okay, next.
Hello, my name is Brandon Nelson. I'm the Vice Chair for Solano County, which we just recently founded our affiliate, County Central Committee. That would have been August of this past year. So it's been my honor to serve as Vice Chair to Jason A. Quintero, and he is the person who I will be nominating for at-large. He's dedicated a particular drive to dismantle the duopoly, a lot of energy, and he is fantastic at forming connections within the community, reaching across to different communities to bring them into the fold. I think that he would make a fantastic addition to the executive committee at the state level, and I really look forward to working with him continually in whichever capacity that is. But please vote Jason Quintero.
Good afternoon. My name is Jason Quintero. I am the Libertarian Party of Solano County Chairman, and I'm also on your platform committee. I'm a 10-year Marine Corps combat veteran, and I also run a nonprofit called Pink Lemonade, where we serve cancer patients in their darkest time of need and their families. Hell yeah. That's what we should be doing, right? As community members, as libertarians, taking care of other people. I also run an ATM business and a coaching company, so I try to stay busy. I want to be an at-large member because I'm a passionate libertarian and I believe in what we're doing. We all know that the two-party system is destroying our liberties and freedoms in California, and it's time that we do something about it. I strongly believe that the Libertarian Party and every libertarian in this room has the courage and the capacity to do something about it. And that's why I want to be an at-large member. I'm extremely proud of what we do at the county level, and I'm very impressed with the state executive committee and what they've done over the last few years. I would like to be a positive addition to the committee by bringing my leadership, compassion, experience, and wisdom to the table. If you want an at-large member with a strong libertarian resume, a passion for community service, a can-do attitude, and a history of getting things done, please vote for me, Jason Quintero. Thank you very much.
I would like to nominate Jillian Olson. She is the treasurer of Kings County. She's my husband's other wife. I don't know. And she's a hard worker. She's worked very hard, even though she hasn't been on the committees and things. She worked hard on the convention. She's been on the platform committee this year and worked very hard on that. She gets a lot done. They've grown tremendously in Kings County, and she's very involved with that. She's good working with other people. She's good getting volunteers motivated. And I think she would be a really great addition to the XCOM. And I look forward to working with her if elected.
Thank you. Got to stick to my speech.
Okay, here we go.
My name is Jill. Some of you know me, others may not. I'm the treasurer of Kings County. And I've been actively involved in the party since 2016. I may be shy, but I assure you I'm more of a doer than a talker. I am independent, objective, and I have a common sense approach. I am willing and able to dedicate a lot of time, as I have chosen to be a domestic engineer, stay-at-home mom. I have been attending executive committee meetings for the last year, and I've gotten to know most of the members of the executive committee. And most who are seeking to be elected to it now. I have developed good relationships with them. I can work closely with them on advancing the party. Thank you.
Absolutely. This party's full of engineers, including domestic engineers. And my hat's off to them. My hat's literally been off all day. It's being used to count votes. So anyway, I'm actually going to be nominating 2 people. So if it's okay, I'll do my first one, let them speak, and then do my next one.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. So first of all, I would like to nominate my friend Kalish Morrow. She is the current chair of the Libertarian Party of Kings County. She is actually also a former candidate. She ran for Hanford City Council. She was the treasurer for Libertarian Party of Kings County in 2017. She's been very active in the party. She has gained national media attention for the Libertarian Party of Kings County, and also just even for the National Libertarian Party, because the National Libertarian Party was discussed in the article in Vox magazine that Kalish was interviewed for, because of her organizing the Yosemite National Park cleanup. And that was all Kalish's, that was her baby. She also served with me on the social media committee. She's been basically single-handedly running the Instagram and doing an awesome job with that, really growing it. She's been just doing a great job in improving messaging. She really wants to focus on growing voter registration, increase fundraising, get more victories for the party, and also, in particular, recruiting or getting the message out more to women, focusing more of our messaging on things that can attract women to the party. All right, Kalish, come on up.
Thanks, Steve-O. That's our seat. If you've heard the Krusty the Clown laugh, that's coming from our area over here. But yeah, like Brent said, I'm just very excited about the progress we've made in Kings County and growing it. I've helped us network throughout our community and the amount of influence that we've gained. We've only been organized for 3 years, but some of our successes include saving a small business from demolition after we discovered the collusion between a council member and the city staff, which is a hot dog stand that Robert Imhoff was referring to earlier. And thank you so much for mentioning that. We helped get a councilman recalled, which, funny enough, he's now telling us that he wants to switch over to the Libertarian Party. Like that's how well we get along with people in our community, despite the contentiousness. He mentioned the Yosemite cleanup, and we were joined by county affiliates Sacramento, Stanislaus, and Fresno, and we're working to really unite some of our smaller counties to working together. There's a plaque at our local zoo that says Libertarian Party of Kings County from when we adopted a porcupine. And now we're working on organizing an event and teaming up with Kings County and other nonprofits to replant trees in our parks that were affected by the drought. My strength is in creative solutions and backing up my ideas with action. And now I'm working on another idea to grow our demographics, like you mentioned, working more on our messaging to women. Let's see. And then, recently I put together a women's think tank to collaborate on issues that speak to us so we can help improve our messaging and our outreach and grow this party and its demographics. I want to see at the table as it would make my job easier by being able to work directly with our ex-com and bring my energy and my ideas to help grow the Libertarian Party.
All right. This next guy doesn't need much of an introduction because he's already pretty well known. He's been involved in the party for 13 years, so just a little shy of how many years I've been involved. He actually has served on the executive committee of the state party for 11 years. He's a previous Southern vice chair. He's currently at large, and he's running for re-election. He's the campaign manager for Jeff Hewitt, his successful campaign, and he's given a lot of speeches on how he's got that win. Thank you. I was waiting. And he's actually been sought after as a campaign manager for not just Libertarian campaigns, but for Republicans, Democrats. So, I mean, he's highly sought after nationally. He is currently the chief of staff for the Jeff Hewitt campaign. And without further ado, Mr. Boomer Shannon.
Well, good afternoon. You guys having a good time today? Yeah. Hey, great. That's fantastic. No? Oh, wow. We got some contrarians in the room, it seems. So I have been on the XCOM for a while now. I've run campaigns. I've run candidates. My last year was dedicated to getting Jeff Hewitt elected as county supervisor, of which I'm the chief of staff for now. One of the things that I had noticed that was in dire need and that I'd like to see fixed is the candidate support committee system that we have. It's very difficult for candidates to run. It's very difficult for candidates to be able to get money and to be able to get resources and access to activists like myself and others on Alive, Free, Happy, and the Mises Caucus, the guys that want to run candidates. So I think the candidate support committee is immensely important, and really all you need is about 2 minutes and a microphone to raise a little bit of money. So I've got $20 here. Who would like to match me to put money in towards the candidate support committee right now? I've got 20, 40, 60, 80, 1, 20, 40, 60, 82. That's 220, 240, 260, 280. That's 320. I think I might have 360. I have 360 and change. So, ladies and gentlemen, please take your money and see Tim Ferreira, the chair of the candidate support committee, who's been doing a great job. Let's get our $20 bills over to Tim right now, and please vote for me. Yeah, we'll take electronic too. Please see Tim.
Okay, next.
Boomer turned my mic off. Thanks, Boomer. He thought I was going to follow him pretty well, I guess. That's a tough act to follow, though. I don't know if I can. Anyway, my nominee here is Eduardo. He's the secretary there in Stanislaus County. He's been making the rounds, helping document and set up sound and video, and he brings a lot to the table. He's been in education. He works with nonprofits. He travels all over the place, taking his liberty with him. And he wants to help marketing, he wants to help branding and just outreach, and he's already been doing a lot of it, so adding him to the XCOM would make a great benefit for all of us. And I'll turn it over to him now.
Thanks, Justin. I'm Eduardo Flores. I go by Ed. My online picture has me probably clean-shaven and short-haired. Kind of grew it out a little bit. All right. So, like Justin said, I'd like to kind of do more outreach to people that we have kind of not necessarily paid attention to. Honestly, we are already working on ideas to do the commercialing through news, network TV, local TV, radio, and internet content. Also, I have been traveling around. I go pretty much up and down the West Coast, and I'm going to the islands, Hawaiian Islands, and I do take my message of liberty, working with nonprofits, also going to be working with more educational, hopefully private and nonprofit venues and revenues. And I also am somebody who has started a nonprofit for myself and for our community. It deals with culinary arts and culinary nutrition, as well as stage performing arts for the youth, 12 to 22. We do benefit fundraisers for other programs that are also helping our areas and our youth. And what else? Oh yeah, pragmatism. I want to hold our local and state government accountable for wasting, mismanaging money, our taking our money. And also, I would just like to, reach out to all, represent some more. Thanks.
I've got one more nomination for you, and it is Rick Dawson. Rick Dawson is one of the most cheerful people I have ever met, and he really helps keep the atmosphere lighthearted in Los Angeles County. He's also a VP of software engineering. He's really good at writing code and can use Java, JavaScript, C#, C++, a whole bunch of other complicated stuff that's way over my head. He specializes in building servers and apps. That is terrible. Which would really help us at the state party. Especially when it comes to video and live stream technology, which we could definitely use some help with.
Howdy, friends, colleagues, and associates. I just thought I'd speak briefly on Mr. Dawson. I am the regional chair of Region 61, the San Fernando Valley, where Rick is our treasurer. And I got to say, I've been witness to the amount of time he's willing to sacrifice to help us build something beautiful in our community. I also serve on the XCOM right now as an at-large, and I think he would be an asset, and I hope you'll send him to work alongside us. Thank you, and I'll yield to the candidate himself.
Appreciate it. Man, why can't life be like this, right? Because all weekend long, I've got to hang out with some amazing libertarians. We got to have honest discussions. How freaking cool is this, right? Hell yeah! All right, so for those of you who don't know who I am a VP of engineering, which basically means I'm a glorified babysitter who writes code for 8 hours a day. I received a call to action in 2018 to run for Congress in the 30th District of California. Though my campaign was cut a little short due to a technicality, the proudest moment was basically I've had a lot of lifetime Democrats and a lot of lifetime Republicans basically telling me I was going to be the first person, not red or not blue, that they were going to vote for. So that was just awesome. Another thing, thank you guys. I'm basically speaking to the candidate support committee, worked really hard by that man in the back, Tim Ferrara. I mean, he's awesome. Let's give him one more round of applause, man. I donate every month to that, but due to the fact of how hard that man works and how much we love him and how, Jesus Christ, just name dropping him, we raised $400. My monthly donation, Tim, I'm doubling it. You're awesome, man. So, yeah. So basically, I plan on running again in 2022. So basically, I'm going to be really relying on the candidate support committee, so I am willing to do whatever I need to do to help make it something great, because Mr. Jeff Hewitt over here is a badass story, and I'd love to see 20 more of them. Also, Jeff, when I did my XCOM meeting to get endorsed, you gave me some great advice. You helped me out, man, and I really appreciate it, man. So just thank you. There's a reason why you won, sir, and tip of the hat, man. All right, ending it off here, what I do to give back, because software has done so much for me in my life, what I do is I actually teach people how to write code in my spare time, and I've got a YouTube channel where 800 people have come to me and said they went from poverty to now having like 6-figure contracts. So what I'd like to offer any county affiliate here, if you want me to come in and teach your people how to write code and how to handle your web stuff so you don't have to hire an egghead like me to do it for you, please let me know. Once again, guys, just thank you for being you. You guys are awesome.
Okay. Yes, Aaron.
I note that the next item of business after this one is the at-large executive committee alternates.
Yes.
I'd like to propose a suspension of the rules, that we vote for all 7 people at the same time instead of the 5 now and the next 2, and we'll just rank the last 2 as alternates.
Well, before you go forward with that, is there anyone that wants to run for alternate only who is not running for at-large rep?
There's an announced person.
Is there an announced? Well, he doesn't seem. Okay. Okay. Well, it's been moved and seconded.
No, Gail is raising her hand.
Oh, Gail is. Gail also. Okay. So there are some people that want to run as alternates only.
I would prefer that, just to save a lot of people time, they should just enter her name in now and just.
Well, are you still making your motion then?
It's been seconded.
Yeah, it's been okay. Well, we need to have 14 people second the motion. Oh, the motion is to vote for up to 7, and the last 2 would be alternates. Okay, well, we need 14, we need 14 standing seconds, so who wants to second Mr. Starr's motion? Stand up if you want to second the motion. I think it dies for lack of 14 people. Okay, let's move on to the election for the at-large rep. There are 10 candidates for 5 positions: Joshua Smith, Michael Mahoney, Christopher Stair, Thomas Souls, Jason Quintero, Jillian Olson, Kalish Morrow, Boomer Shannon, Eduardo Flores, and Rick Dawson. The names are up on the screen. You can vote for up to 5. You can vote for less than 5 if you want, but you can vote for up to 5. And you can also vote for none of the above, but only none of the above if you're voting for that particular option. Our distinguished ballot counters have asked for you to line up on the conga line in the middle aisle and come forward in the middle aisle. Have your badges ready again to be punched, and then and preferably, if you could, keep your votes in the same order of the candidates to make it easier for the ballot counters to count them, if you can. Not required, but if you can, that would be a big help to the ballot counters. Thank you.
Is our delegate still here with the Walker? I haven't seen her in the past few minutes. Just when all the tellers go pick hers up so she doesn't have to.
Okay, and while we are voting, I know that everybody's going to be a little bit bored waiting in line, so I was wondering if Karen Ann Harlos would like to come up for a few minutes and speak to us. Maybe sing. I don't know. She sometimes sings. She says we don't want that.
I want people to stay. I'll sing, but you won't like them. I don't know, you might if I sing.
I hope Brett told you I was doing that. What? Yeah. Okay. Yep, he certainly did.
Well, hello, everyone. I am here, as I normally am, to try to encourage you to become a National Party member. I talked to some of you while you were looking at the booths in the exhibition hall. And is there anyone here actually who is not a National Party member? Be brave, raise your hand. Well, I'm going to ask now who is, and I remember, so. It benefits your state greatly. It is not just a benefit to national. The number of delegates that you get for the nominating conventions and the off-year conventions depend upon how many delegates you have. Now, I know you guys already have a ton, but there can always be more, correct? Because you're going to be getting in all of these new people that you're going to be converting out in your communities. If you are not currently a national member, I'm here to entice you with a t-shirt that you can go home with. I'm going to tell you a true story. When I first joined the Libertarian Party, I probably wouldn't have ended up doing anything, but I was on Facebook and I saw an ad that if you join the National Party, you get a free t-shirt. And I wanted that sweet t-shirt. And that t-shirt got me now where I am. It's that damn shirt. And I am giving to my trusty assistant here some clipboards. If you would, please sign up for National. It's $25 a year. Come see me at the back of the room, and I will send you home with a t-shirt. Now, if you're up for renewal, I've got a cute little lapel, badge for you, but if you renew at the next level, you too can also go home with a t-shirt. But here's the kicker here. This has been my favorite shirt, the I'm With Her, because I just think it's awesome. They're not doing this one anymore. I have the rest of the stock. So if you happen to like this blue t-shirt, this is probably your last opportunity. But we also, that's not all. This is the new one they'll be doing. We have it in both short sleeve and long sleeve. And then here's the shirt that sucked me in that I swear has powers. And we do have some limited edition historical shirts. For instance, this is original Badnerick campaign shirt that was given to me by a former campaign manager. Now, of course, obviously, since these aren't made anymore, I only have a few of these. These could be yours if you designate your membership fee to go to the Historical Preservation Committee, because it's a fundraiser for them, but you still get membership just like any other. Now, if you are a life member, because that's kind of what people have been telling me, you know, I think just to scare me away. No, 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 I'm already a life member. If you sign up to be a monthly pledger, you can also leave with a t-shirt. But now I'm going to put the guilt trip on you. Are you ready? I threw my back out last Saturday, and I literally could not walk. I was in the historical storage facility, and I called my husband and said, come pick me up. He's like, what? I mean, literally, come pick me up from the floor because I can't move. Please don't make me haul all these shirts back to Colorado and injure my back some more. Have pity. You know, normally I just say, you know, Nick would beat me up, but we've gotten over that. I think we have an understanding now. But it's now my back, and I'm totally not, this isn't a fib. I could barely walk, and I really would not want to haul all of this again. So you'd be doing yourself a favor, you'd be doing California a favor, you'd be doing the National Party a favor, and you'd be saving my back, my 50-year-old back that just can't do that anymore. So please have mercy on me. So come see me in the back, fill out the form. I really want to send you home with a shirt. It might have the same magical powers, and next thing you know, you're going to be chair of the National Party or something. Thank you.
Mimi handed me the gavel while she is off doing something else. So, I just wanted to remind people once again, if people aren't delegates and they're here and interested in speakers, or if they're just bored and tired of dealing with party business, we do have two excellent speakers starting at 3 o'clock. We have Nathan Fatal from the Leadership Institute in the tabling room. He's going to be talking about campaign strategy, especially GoTV strategy, messaging, and tactics. He'll be in there. He'll be actually doing two separate presentations. The first one is from 3 to 4, and then he's doing one from 4 to 5. And then in the speaker room, we have Pete Constant, and he's going to be speaking on the looming government pensions. So, great speakers. Like I say, go listen to them and interact with them. If you don't have if you're not a delegate, or if you're tired of business. I know business can get tedious and boring. I like it, but I'm nuts. What's that? Has anybody not voted? All right. Then we're going to go ahead and count these ballots. I'm going to give Joe Dean, former chair of the Libertarian Party of Santa Clara County, a few minutes here at the podium to speak.
Just want to give everybody a heads up. Those of you who have run in the past or supported candidates in the past to run as Libertarians with Libertarian next to their name, those are the offices like Congress and the state legislature, state senate and state assembly. You may all remember the procedure involved in that, of getting signatures in lieu, or getting ready to pay a filing fee. You all may remember how that works, but what you may not know is that this time, coming up for 2020, all of this is not going to happen in January and February. Well, if you look at the sheet that I handed out, there's a quote from the Secretary of State's website showing the calendar. You can go there and check it out yourself. But this process is going to start this year in September. The signature in lieu period starts September 12th, 2019. So start thinking about that. Don't wait until the end of the year because it's going to be too late. The deadlines will have already passed. This September is when you got to start getting all the paperwork in to get candidates on the ballot so that people can vote Libertarian.
Does anybody see a phone on the table that I lost?
I guess you're taking it.
Again.
Is your ringer on?
I don't think so.
Well, I'm going to, is it at least
I
on
found
vibrate?
it. I'm a dick. I'm a dork. I'm bad. I was talking on the phone one day to somebody looking for my phone. I swear to God, it was so embarrassing. Mr. Weber? Yes. Okay, fair enough. That was a mistake on there. It wasn't on the printed one we handed out, was it? I didn't have it on this. Okay, that was just a mistake in printing. Okay, so while we've finished that vote, the next vote that we go to, I'm going to get that. It's okay. The next thing that we're going to go to is the election of the alternates for the at-large positions. I believe that there may be some people that will run for that based on this election. So I don't think that it's prudent for us to go to that vote until this vote is counted. And the next order of business after that is the platform committee, and I don't really think that it's prudent to start that report until after we finish this election. So what I'd like to do is, if nobody minds, ask Aaron Starr to come up for a moment and speak about what's going on in Oxnard. There's a lot of things going on, and he can have a few minutes while the tellers count the votes. Yes, dear. Yes, sir. No, it's not. They were elected last year, and there is no report. That was a mistake in the program, but it wasn't on this agenda. There is no time certain for today, and we have the room, so we will complete business as long as we keep quorum.
Hello, fellow Libertarians. I'm Aaron Starr. I live in Oxnard. How many of you remember the story from a year or two ago where the city of Oxnard actually sued me over wanting to do an initiative? Raise your hands if you remember that story. All right. So since then, of course, we actually won our lawsuit. So basically, we just creamed the city at trial. They just couldn't even get their math correct. And one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to present bad math to a CPA because he'll eat you for lunch, and that's what we did. But we've got some other interesting things happening right now. Of course, the city, of course, is deciding to appeal their loss to the appellate court, so we'll do battle with them again. We'll see what happens. But bottom line is, what it all started is that we had an initiative to repeal an 87% sewer rate increase. So they sued me to prevent me from gathering signatures, if you can believe that. And then we had to sue them back to get the right to gather signatures. We gathered the signatures we needed in 16 days, and we won with 72% of the vote that November. So we did really, really well. Win, folks. Win. And then what happened is that the city council said, well, we don't care how the voters voted. We're going to raise rates again anyway, and they did. So I said, if you do that, I'm going to recall your asses from office. And pretty much they said, give it your best shot. Well,
we did. And we qualified 4 recalls for the ballot, and they were in shock. And by the way, I want to take this moment to say thank you, thank you, thank you to some of the folks in San Bernardino County who were very helpful with that. When we gathered signatures, we were using their software in order to validate the signatures so that we knew we had enough. So I want to thank Boomer Shannon and Matthew Barnes, and I see Jordan Lee, Lovato, thank you. And let's see, Vincent Law, is it Lai or Lee? Lee, okay. So, and I know there were others, I'm missing them, but you know what? Hats off to volunteers like that. That is really what makes this party go forward. And just thank you, thank you, thank you. So let me tell you what's happening next. I love being on the offensive. And you know what? And some of you, of course, say, well, Aaron, you're really good at being offensive. And that's true. Well, in this case, I'm being offensive against government officials, and that's really the right way to go. So if you're going to be offensive, use your tools for good. So we are being offensive against the city council. Here's what we're doing next. We are going to put 5 ballot measures on the ballot for November 20. Now, you know we can do it because we've done this already before. Let me tell you what these 5 ballot measures are. Ballot measure number 1, term limits. We're going to have 2 terms in office for these city council members and the mayor, and then you got to take a break before you can come back again. Right now, these folks have been there in some cases, it seems like forever. So we want to make sure that term limits gets in there. Secondly, recently the city council decided to move to a committee structure and move most of their meetings to the middle of the day so that ordinary people can't attend their meetings. So you really don't have transparency at all. Well, our second initiative says you cannot begin your meetings till 5 p.m., period. Our third measure is transparency, financial transparency. We're going to require that every single expenditure be posted on the internet. Every invoice, every purchase order, every bid, every request for quote, it will all be there for anybody to see. Fourth measure. Oh, you're going to like this. Now, 10 years ago, we had a sales tax increase, a 0.5% sales tax increase that our city council schnookered the voters into voting for. They said, we need to enhance vital services. And if you give us the money, we'll do that. We're going to give you pristine roads. We're going to give you more of everything. Well, at the end of the day, we didn't get anything. We just got a bigger tax bill. So the normal way that us libertarians wanted to combat this was to say, you know what, let's just do an initiative to repeal the sales tax increase. But there's a challenge with that. Most of the times when you do something like that, it fails at the ballot because most people are saying, I'm already paying it anyway, I'm used to it. Here's the way we're going to do it. One of the things that the city promised us was better roads. That was the big deal. And people love to vote for better roads. So here's what we're going to do. There's actually an engineering standard known as a pavement condition index that's used to measure the quality of roads. So you can measure the score between 0 and 100. What we're going to do is our initiative says you got to bring the roads up to a particular score or the tax sunsets. So basically, if you don't do the work, you don't get the pay, right? People will love that because people want better roads. And it's a good trade-off to say, hey, if you don't perform, you don't get the money anymore. So that's our fourth initiative. Last initiative, permit simplicity. Now, in Phoenix, Arizona, they've actually outsourced their permitting process to the applicant's architects or civil engineers. So literally what they do there is they empower, so an architect or a civil engineer can self-certify that their plans are in compliance with the building code. The applicant can take those plans to City Hall and get a permit that day and get to work the next day. The only thing that the city can do is they can only do an audit just to make sure you really did it according to the building code. That's their only real role. Today what happens is that if you want a permit, well, guess what? Some bureaucrat says, I don't like your design. I think it should be Spanish tile, or I don't like the way your entranceway looks, or any of a host of reasons that have absolutely nothing to do with what a building department in theory should do. So our initiative bypasses that altogether. And there are other places in California that have been starting to do this, but only for tenant improvements. So if you go up to Elks Grove and Rancho Cordova, Yolo County, and unincorporated Sacramento County, they're allowing for tenant improvements this exact type of system. We're going to bring that system to Oxnard for all construction. We're going to extend it to actually contractors. So basically it'll be contractors, architects, civil engineers. They will be able to get things through the planning department without having months and months of delays. We'll get people to work, we'll bring businesses into town. It will be a great deal. So those are our 5 measures. We're going to get on the ballot this summer. We're already in contact with Cliff Maloney, who actually brought together the crew that did Jeff Hewitt's campaign. And we're going to have them doing the signature gathering. And we're going to combine that with a city council race. I'll be running in 2020 for Oxnard City Council. And we're going to have them actually going door to door gathering signatures in my district. So we're going to be gathering a lot of intelligence out there, a lot of support. It's going to be a lot of fun. And we're just enjoying being offensive to the local city council. Yay. Thank you, San Bernardino.
Can you hear me? Need to be, oh, there, okay. How many people are involved in what you're doing there, so that if I try to do it in my county, how many people do I need to line up?
So basically, it really depends on the size of your city, because the way these signatures work for a typical initiative is it's 10% of the registered voters. So in my case, for example, Oxnard, we have about 82,000 registered voters. We'll need about 8,200 valid signatures, roughly about 12,000 gross in order to accomplish this goal. So Gail, you live in a much smaller city, and I don't remember the size of your city, but it's much smaller, 20,000? So you might have, say, 10,000 registered voters. You might be able to do something like this for only 1,000 signatures. You might be able to do that with 2 or 3 people. I tell you what, I'm going to give these initiatives, once they go through legal, they're just finishing up right now, I'll give these to anybody who wants them. If you want to duplicate this effort in your city, I'm happy to provide guidance. Prefer that you talk to me after June or July when we get this done. Very happy to help folks out. But I'm all about winning and getting initiatives on the ballot. You know, we've done that before back when I was chair. You know about how my candidate recruitments actually worked, where we actually got people elected to low-level offices. We won a lot of times back when we had Operation Breakthrough. If you want to, you can always look that up online to figure out what that's all about. But yeah, absolutely willing to help you, Gail, and anybody else who wants help for this sort of thing. So we will have 5 people who will be working full-time for 2 months just to gather signatures. But we actually have 6 months to gather signatures. So we're doing it much more quickly. And we'll do a lot of volunteer signatures ourselves. For those of you who don't know, Alicia is my wife. And without her, frankly, I couldn't have done much of any of this. But we get a lot done. We spend a lot of hours on the ground talking to lots of people, gathering. When we did the recall, we gathered a total of about 78,000 signatures total for the four. And Alicia and I alone, we gathered about 1 out of every 6 of those signatures. So that kind of gives you an idea of just how much work we put into that. But we definitely, we're definitely activists to the core. I'm sorry, what? Yeah, we actually did get a little bit of a tan now. Any other questions? All right. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. It's really nice being back. I missed you last year when I was in the middle of a recall election.
Thank you so much, Aaron, for all you're doing in Oxnard, and thank you, Alicia. You guys are doing amazing work, and it's great. So I think that what we're going to do, I'm sure that the teller committee is getting close. But what we're going to do is we're going to open up nominations for alternate at large, but we will keep the nominations opened until after the teller committee is completed. So for this, it's the same as the last. We would need the nominator and the nominee to come up to the microphone. Same thing, 2 minutes, 2 minutes. So anybody that wants to nominate somebody for alternate at large, and again, we will be keeping these open.
Howdy. I would like to nominate John Ferrero's dog, Liberty, for at-large alternate.
Is there anything in our rules that say that we can have a dog? Is he a current dues-paying member? He would have to already be a delegate. Okay. I do like Liberty, though. Liberty is a very cool dog. Okay. Any other nominations for alternate at-large?
Hi, I'd like to nominate Devin Harris. She is the chair over at Fresno. She's working hard to get that thing going as a viable, fellow county affiliate there. She came and joined us during the Yosemite Park cleanup. That's how I met her. And she worked on the amazing Jeff Hewitt campaign, too. So she was instrumental at that one. But I'll let her take it.
All right, thank you, Kalish. I've met a lot of you guys this weekend, some of you while I worked on the credentialing committee and others at the various evening gatherings that were held. For those of you who I have not met, my name is Devin Harris and I'm the chair of the Fresno County affiliate. As Kalish said, I was recently very fortunate to have the opportunity to spend approximately 860 hours working to help Jeff Hewitt win his seat on the Riverside County Board of Supervisors. Working with Jeff was a major turning point in my life. I've always been a libertarian, but the Hewitt campaign brought me into working with an actual political party for the first time. It also helped me make connections with our newly elected Secretary Paul Vallandigham and Vice Chair Brent Olson, who we're very, very lucky to have in the neighboring Kings County. Fresno is the largest city in Central Valley with 3,500 registered libertarians in the entire county, but the chapter has been struggling to build membership for years. The last few months I've been working to revitalize the Fresno County chapter and to collaborate with other Central Valley chapters to help us all grow our affiliates together. I've also been working as the secretary of the volunteer committee, which has given me a lot of insight into the workings of the state level. I'm very excited to see Mimi reelected because she has given me so much support in the few short months that I've been involved. If I'm chosen to be an alternate, I'm really optimistic about the work that we can do together. It's been great meeting all of you guys, and I really hope I can continue to contribute to LPC efforts as an alternate on the state executive committee. Thank you.
Gail Lightfoot here to nominate Mark Hurd.
God bless you. God bless you, Gail. You guys, thank you so much for coming out this weekend. I know it takes a lot of time and effort. Gail and I are both running because we believe in traditions. And my experience is as a councilman in Westwood, a homeowner president 4 times, and a donor, Libertarian candidate for Congress, U.S. Senate, with Gail Lightfoot in 2016. That's how we met. We ran against each other. And we were kind of like this. And then when we connected, it was love. This party became a relationship of love. And she taught so much to me about the history of this party and its historical preservation. And I think I taught her a lot about my experience as a municipal politician organizing the #1 neighborhood council in the city of Los Angeles out of 96. It was the biggest council. And here's my goals, because I do want to say one thing. John Wooden always said the most important thing is to learn how to tie your shoes before you get on the basketball court, right? In politics, there's a way to tie your shoes, and I'm going to tell you what it is, because I've been staying up late to learn this. Number 1, I want each of you guys to bring 1 member next year. I want you to take a guy to a bar, buy him a beer, and I want you to bring him to this party. Okay? Last night's party was sick. Jeff Hewitt was there. Jeff Hewitt's wife was there. Freaking Star Child was there. Okay? So I want each of you guys to go get 1 guy and bring them next year. We're going to double the party. Or a woman. We're all equal. Now, number 2, we got some open counties. What the is that about? Huh? Next time you're driving through a county, I want you to hook up with Open Source Liberty or Mimi or me or anybody, and we're going to get you the names and numbers, and you tell those guys, you know what, we got a county supervisor named Jeff Hewitt. I want you to meet him. I'm looking for 3 good men, 5 good men. We're going to start up this county, Sonny Bono County, and you guys are going to be our guys. I want to introduce you to Jeff Hewitt, his wife. I want to buy you lunch. I want to buy you a beer, and we're going to light these counties up because that's tying our shoes, guys. 1 new guy doubles the party. Light every county up. We got candidates all through California, okay? That's step 2. Final step, love. I want some love, guys. No age restrictions. All right? I don't give a damn. We're libertarians, right? Win? Win. Love you guys. Oh, and I'm nominating Gail. But I love Devin. I recruited that girl. She didn't tell me she was running. God darn, I hate these situations.
You know, I love being an alternate to the executive committee because I can kind of slide a lot of the times. And, you know, I'm probably the only person in the room that's in her 82nd year. And people tell me, what? That's why I brag about it. My sister turned 82 in January. I turned 82 in September. She's got a few months on me. But otherwise, you know. And I'm proud of the fact that I'm still able to work and still able to contribute and have been in this party since 1972, been active since 1977, and extremely active since 1980 when I organized the 7th region in LA County, Region 67 in the East San Gabriel Valley. And all my runs, I mean, I think I'm the most popular losing candidate in the state. So, yay for me. I don't want to go to Washington. That's done. I wouldn't go there, no matter how much you paid me. But I love to serve on the executive committee, and I hope you'll vote for myself and Mark, and we can continue to work together for the good of this party.
Are there currently any other nominations for at-large alternate? Huh? I'm not closing nominations. I'm just asking. Okay, we're not going to close the votes until they finish their... There's a few questions coming up. So, what we could do is we could actually, if there are any candidates in the room that are seeking our endorsement at this time, we could have somebody suspend the rules to change the agenda to move to that next if there are any candidates in the room. Any candidates that are running for office that have already announced?
I move to suspend the rules to allow endorsements for candidates.
Huh? This is going to need a standing second of 14 people. Oh, we've got well over 14. Okay, this is a supermajority vote. All those in favor of suspending the rules to go to endorsement of candidates, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Okay, the motion passes to suspend the rules. So we are going to go on to this and then go back to the elections in the proper order as soon as we finish this. So, are there any candidates in the room seeking endorsement? Well, this would be any candidates that have already decided to run in an election either this year or in 2020.
Okay. I'm Scott Meyer. Some of you have met me. I've known Gail for a while because I used to be a member, and then I wasn't a member, and then I re-registered again as a member last year. But I've always been a Libertarian. I'm seeking your endorsement because the confluence of factors happened. It's a perfect opportunity to run. Jeff Hewitt is opened the door to a lot of us. Palm Springs, District 1 City Council. If you're not aware, Palm Springs recently was sued and forced to go from at-large to districts. What that did is open an opportunity for various people because there are 2 districts that have no incumbent. Mine is one of them. So there is no incumbent in my district, so I will be fighting against other newbies as well. So that's why I'm seeking your endorsement. It's a perfect opportunity to carry forward what Jeff's doing. Palm Desert has Lisa Marie Weber as the mayor. She's a Libertarian. Susan Ram. One thing, if you don't know me, is I'm very bad at names. Some of you else are also bad at names. I was called Steve earlier today. I won't point out who did that, but no.
I'm going to interject just a moment. So we got a little out of order. I was looking for candidates, but the way we do this usually, so I'm going to let you continue with your speech, but it's 5 minutes total for the nomination and then the speech of the nominee. So who nominated him for endorsement? He's self-nominated? Fair enough. Okay, continue on, and you've got a few more minutes to your speech.
Okay. So what happened, that districts are now open to people to come in, and I noted, last year I was thinking about it, the districting allowed the opportunity, and then I saw actually, unlike when I was a member Harry Brown's time, we weren't winning elections. We're winning elections. This is the opportunity. I mean, if we can have more people winning who are Libertarians, even though this is a nonpartisan race, I've already been asked, whether I'm a liberal or a conservative, and I put on record I'm a Libertarian. So this is the opportunity to elect more Libertarians right now, and I'm seeking your endorsement for that reason.
One moment. Can you please clarify what office you're running for? We didn't catch that.
Palm Springs City Council, District 1.
Thank you. And thank you for running.
You're very welcome.
Are there any other nominations for endorsement of candidates? I'm recognizing Starchild.
If I may, this is not for a nomination of candidate. I'd like to move to suspend the rules for consideration of a resolution.
Can we first finish this because we've got one more nomination for
We are waiting. I think this could be pretty quick, but I'll leave it to your discretion.
Okay. Starchild has made a motion to suspend the rules to go to resolutions. Do you want to have a minute to say exactly what you're going to be doing before we vote on the suspension of?
Yes.
Is it, and to clarify, are you doing this only for your one resolution,
yes,
or are you moving that we go to the next agenda item, which
this
is
just
resolutions?
for this particular resolution.
Okay, that still is a suspension of the rules for. Okay, so you're just suspending the rules to.
Correct.
And the general nature.
This would be for the Libertarian Party of California to endorse State Senate Bill 233 by State Senator Scott Wiener, which would prohibit the arrest of people involved in sex work when they come forward as a witness or victim of a specified violent and serious crime, and separately ensure that the possession of condoms may not be used as probable cause to arrest someone for sex work. This is a bill that myself and some of our...
Okay, don't speak to it yet.
Okay,
we need
sorry.
to get the second first.
Okay.
So that is the reason for your suspension of rules.
Yes.
We need 14 people to stand up. Way more than 14. This is a 2/3 supermajority vote. All those in favor of suspending the rules to address this resolution, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? None?
I heard one over here.
Huh?
I heard one over here somewhere.
Oh. Well, I didn't say it was unanimous, but it was
Okay.
pretty overwhelming. So
Yeah.
go ahead with your resolution.
Okay. So it would read, the Libertarian Party of California endorses Senate Bill 233 by State Senator Scott Wiener, which would prohibit the arrest of people involved in sex work when they come forward as a witness or victim of a specified violent and serious crime, and separately ensures that the possession of condoms may not be used as probable cause to arrest someone for sex work. That's pretty much it. I think it's pretty straightforward and doesn't require a lot of justification or elaboration. But
Okay, so the resolution would be that the Libertarian Party of California.
do you want
I
me
didn't write it down. Just say it one
I
more
can just
time.
hand it to the secretary.
Just the resolution.
Endorses Senate Bill 233 by State Senator Scott Wiener.
Okay, we've already read it, but that is the motion that you're voting on. If we, the State of California Libertarian Party, endorses that Senate bill, is there any discussion? Yes.
It's certainly fair enough. I don't have it in front of me. You can presumably look it up if you have some kind of internet-capable device. It's SB 233. It was introduced in February.
Mr. Dean?
I have more or less the same question, but specifically, if somebody is familiar with this bill, can they tell us if there's anything? It's often the case that legislation has a mix of things we like and things we don't like. Is there anything specifically in here, like a new tax or some other kind of regulatory authority or something that's being included in this bill to kind of balance things off politically? It would be nice for us to know about that. I'm not saying there is. It would have been nice to know about this before, so we could have looked it up.
And before I let you speak to that, I'm going to let Aaron, because he was actually he was in line before you.
Actually, you can go first. I was going to speak on this. I just wanted to provide some helpful information. So the Legislative Council's digest on Senate Bill 233, currently as amended, of course this could always be changed later because that's the legislative process. It says existing law criminalizes various aspects of sex work, including soliciting anyone to engage in or engaging in lewd or dissolute conduct in a public place, loitering in a public place with the intent to commit prostitution, or maintaining a public nuisance. Existing law, the California Uniform Controlled Substances Act, also criminalizes various offenses relating to the possession, transportation, and sale of specified controlled substances. This bill would prohibit the arrest of a person for a misdemeanor violation of the CSUSA, that's the California Uniform Controlled Substances Act, or specified sex work crimes if that person is reporting a crime of sexual assault, human trafficking, stalking, robbery, assault, kidnapping, threats, blackmail, extortion, burglary, or another violent crime. The bill would also state that possession of condoms in any amount does not provide a basis for probable cause for arrest for specified sex work crimes. Existing law specifies a procedure by which condoms may be introduced as evidence in a prosecution for various crimes, including soliciting or engaging in lewd or dissolute conduct in a public place, soliciting or engaging in acts of prostitution, loitering in or about a toilet open to the public for purpose of engaging in or soliciting a lewd, lascivious, or unlawful act, or loitering in a public place with the intent to commit prostitution. There's just two more paragraphs here. The bill instead would prohibit the possession of a condom as evidence of a violation of soliciting or engaging in lewd or dissolute conduct in a public place, soliciting or engaging in acts of prostitution, loitering in a public place with the intent to commit prostitution, or for maintaining a public nuisance. The California Constitution includes the right to truth in evidence, which requires a 2/3 vote of the legislature to pass a bill that would exclude any relevant evidence from any criminal proceeding as specified, because this bill would exclude from a criminal action evidence about a person's liability for an act of prostitution that's otherwise admissible. It requires a 2/3 vote of the legislature. So that is the Legislative Council's digest. I won't get into the actual reading of the text of the bill itself.
Thank you. Mr. Hinkle?
Mark Hinkle, Santa Clara County. First, a point of information and then perhaps an amendment. Is it my understanding that resolutions passed by this body cannot be overturned by the executive committee?
I believe you're right, but I'm going to defer to the parliamentarian. Yes. Anything that happens in convention, the XCOM cannot pass something that would do anything to that.
In that case, I'd like to offer an amendment that would allow the LPC Executive Committee by a 2/3 vote to unendorse this if it is determined that future amendments to this bill are deemed unlibertarian or violate the party platform.
And that is an allowable. Yeah. Yes. Is there a second? I just checked and you can do that.
There's no such thing as a friendly amendment.
Yeah, you can delegate power. So it's been moved and seconded. We're going to be on discussion right now on only the amendment.
Yeah. Hopefully this is self-evident, but it's been my experience that sometimes bills introduced on one topic are completely changed to another topic. I'm not sure the mechanism by which the state legislature does this, but they do this frequently. So certainly in the future, if they said, you know, let's tax oil or, you know, whatever, we clearly don't want to be in favor of something like that. So a bait and switch, this is what I'm trying to avoid.
And I appreciate that, and I think that happened once in the last year. So,
I have a point of order, Madam Chair. I heard you say right after endorsement of candidates, resolutions was next, but I didn't hear anything about platform committee.
No, I said that comes after, and the platform committee, I didn't want to start until the elections were over because that's going to be the rest of the day. So there was motions made to suspend the rules to do these other couple things.
Okay, I didn't want to get
out
missed.
of order. So no, we're not going to miss them as long as we don't lose quorum. So let's try to make sure that doesn't happen. Mr. Jake.
Jonathan Jake, LA County. I just want to report I've read the text of the bill as it's posted at leginfo.legislature.ca.gov. It's pretty short. It's all changes to the penal code and the evidence code. There's no taxes or regulatory structure or anything like that. It's quite short and straightforward. In fact, probably shorter than the digest that Aaron read.
Brian Ryman, San Bernardino County. I would just like to speak in favor of the proposal as amended.
Any further discussion on the amendment only?
Call the question on the amendment.
The question's been called. Any objection to calling the question? We'll move to a vote. All those in favor of adopting this resolution to endorse this measure? No. All those in favor of the amendment, I got ahead of myself, say aye. Aye. All those opposed, say nay. Okay. The amendment passes. It now goes back to the main motion as amended. Is there any further discussion on the main motion as amended? The question's been called. Any objection to calling the question? Hearing none, we will go to a vote. All those in favor of this proposal as amended, please say aye. Aye. One moment.
Point of information, could you read it out for me?
Can somebody
endorse SB 233 by State Senator Scott Wiener with the allowance for the XCOM by 2/3 vote to rescind if some.
Did you guys hear that? Probably not. Okay. This is to endorse SB 233, which was SB 233, which was presented by State Senator Scott Wiener, and allow that the XCOM can vote with a 2/3 vote to rescind the endorsement. Should a non-libertarian provision is found. Okay, do we have further discussion on this? We already, the question was called and it's already gone to a vote. That was a point of information about what we were voting on. So the question's been called and we're going to a vote. All those in favor of this resolution, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. Passes unanimously. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you very much, everyone. And Madam Chair, a very quick point of personal privilege, if I may. For anybody who might be in Sacramento this coming Tuesday, the day after tomorrow, I will probably be going up with some other activists to testify on this piece of legislation. It will be heard before the Public Safety Committee, starting, I believe, at 9:30 a.m., although it may not be heard until later in the day. And again, Senate Bill 233.
Okay, thank you. Very quickly before I okay, so, Mr. Shaw.
Oh, is it appropriate at this time to mention another candidate we might endorse?
Well, we are still at that point. We do now have the election results, so.
I don't want to take up time because that sounds way more interesting. But
Okay, but we will get back to this.
I'll do that
because-
after, yeah.
Yeah, because we haven't finished that, but we're going to be voting and we're going to have time again, so please come back when you're ready. Okay, so the. So can you just tell the five? Okay, so the results are up on the screen. I could not read them. So there have been 4 people elected on this ballot, and those 4 will all have 2-year terms. And that's Kalish Morrow with 69 votes, Joshua Smith with 64, Boomer Shannon with 57, and Rick Dawson with 55. Jason Quintero got the next highest amount of votes, which is 45. However, that's not a majority because it needs 49 for a majority. So we could entertain suspending the rules to, rather than go to another vote, we could elect him by acclamation if somebody. Yes.
Before this was all changed, it showed up there that there was 8 votes not counted. I'd like to know why.
Okay.
You're supposed to, you can vote up to 5 different people. They can.
Once you vote no, it invalidates the ballot.
Yes, I mentioned that on the instructions.
Yes, it does.
I mentioned that the instructions, no to only or nobody else.
Yeah, it's no to only.
So then NOTA got counted, so it's not that, then why isn't NOTA up there? They were counted.
Once you vote noted, and if you vote candidates plus NOTA, it invalidates the ballot. So it's not counted for the votes, but it's still counted for the number of ballots.
Strictly speaking, you would vote against everybody by voting NOTA.
Yeah, you're gonna either, you're gonna say that NOTA's the only put under or NOTA, and NOTA both if put, then NOTA would overrule it, and you should see at least a couple of NOTA out there.
No. No, because if you're putting down names and you're putting none of the above, it's contradictory. Okay, so. And then there was another ballot where they cast more than 5 votes, and that one wasn't counted either. It was 7, right? Or they voted for 7 people instead of 5. So we have 4 people that have been elected. Somebody can make that motion to suspend the rules to do this by acclamation. Okay, it's been moved and seconded. It only needs a moved in a second, right? Okay, I need 14 people to stand up. We have more than 14. Is there any discussion on this? Hearing none, we're going to go to a vote. All those in favor of suspending the rules to vote by acclamation for the fifth person, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. That carries. So now what we're going to do is, to be elected as an at-large, you need to get a majority vote. We're going to vote by acclamation between Jason or Noda's still or Noda, because Noda is always an option. All those in favor of Jason Quintero for at-large for the one-year term, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, or no, I'm sorry, all those for Noda? Okay, so Justin is the fifth at-large member elected for the one. Jason is the fifth person elected for the one-year term. At this point, I think that the proper thing to do would be to reopen nominations again, or not reopen, but continue nominations for alternate at-large, so we can start voting, and then we can go to where we were at with endorsements.
Madam Chair?
Mr. Brown.
Based on the election results, I would nominate Christopher Stair and Jillian Olson for the two alternate positions. If they're willing, of course.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to add those candidates. Would those candidates like to? It's Jillian Olson and Christopher Stair. And do those two candidates agree to serve if elected? Okay, so you can speak. You've got 2 minutes to speak.
I'm not going to say a whole lot. I really don't think you can go wrong with anybody on this list, but I promise if I'm elected, I'll do my best to keep on learning and to put my skills to use to serve all of us. Thank you.
I just want to say thank you, and I'll do my best.
Okay, are there any further nominations for alternate at-large for the one-year seat?
Oh, I'd like to nominate Eduardo Flores for at-large alternate.
Second? Would Eduardo like to speak for a minute or two? Well, 2 or less.
Yes, I accept that nomination, and I just wanted to point out that I have also been involved with the parks cleanup, have started up a river cleanup, and I was also doing the sound, helping the sound for the entertainment, as well as helping with the AV. I would continue to do my work regardless of my position and help and contribute to the party. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further nominations for alternate at-large? Okay, so nominations are closed. We have 5, right? 6? Okay. Yes, so there are 2 positions available. The names will be on the screen. We have Mark Hurd, Gail Lightfoot, Devin Harris, Christopher Stair, Jillian Olson, and Eduardo Flores. You will be voting for 2 people and no more than 2. And if you vote Noda, you can't vote for anything else. So we will go to a vote. We're going to line up in the middle again. We can get the tellers over here to get ready for that. Okay, you're voting for alternate at-large, which is a one-year seat. You can vote for you can vote for 1 or 2, but no more than 2. And if you vote Noda, which is always an option, you can't vote for anybody else. It has to only be Noda, or those votes won't be counted. Okay. outside for a minute. I'm not gonna lose my phone this time. Because I'm gonna leave it on the table. Oh, yeah. This is, oh. Okay, so while you're all in line, I'm going to make a brief announcement. So last night we did have 2 new life members, Nicholas Smith and Donovan Spencer. And today, with Steve's generous offer, we have 4 new life members. Elshiva Levine, thank you. James Eyre, Bill Lopez, and Dennis. Dennis, what's his last name? I cannot read this.
I can't either. It's V-E.
Belilo? I can't read the writing. Okay, those are our 4. Just so you know, there's 1 more available for the discounted low price of $800 today, thanks to our treasurer, and you'll get that spiffy pin. Also, 2020 convention tickets, last day to get the special discounted price. And I believe we still have some shirts. Okay, I'll be right back.
Put your badge out. Promise? I'll see what I can do. I'll buy the beer. Thanks for coming. I'll just 1 more next year, okay? Give me 1, promise? Give me your word. You'll try. I'll buy the beers here. I know you don't want 1 more next year. Thanks for coming. 2 from you. I want 2 next year from you, okay? I want 2 new members. Thank you. Thanks for coming. I want 5 new members. Oh, you got 2.
Howdy.
I voted for you.
I want 2 new members at your job.
Jose.
I want 2 new members.
All right.
Up all night. I want 5 new members out of you next year. You gonna bring them?
I'll do what I can. I'll do what I can.
Congratulations.
Hey, thanks, man.
I want 2 new members. I want at least 1 new member out of you next year. I'll buy the beers. Can I count on you?
What's that? For what?
I count on you 1 member next year. I don't care if you vote for Mark. I just want 1 new member.
1 new member for what?
You guys are speaking into the mic.
Is there anybody who has not turned in their ballot for alternate? All right, this is the last call. They're going to go count the ballots. All right, everybody. We're going to go back to candidate endorsements. While they're counting those ballots, we're going to go on to candidate endorsements because I know we've got a couple more, and we're going to wait to go to the platform committee report until we have the results from that election, just so that everybody can be in here and participate who wants to be. Because I know some members of the teller committee wanted to be present for that, for the platform committee report.
Howdy. I was interested in having I wanted to oh jeepers, what's the word? When you support a candidate, an endorsement. I wanted to offer an endorsement to a candidate in my area, Mr. Jay Bieber. He's running in a special election on June 4th for City Council District 12. The interesting thing about Mr. Bieber, not only did he come to my affiliate to speak to us and tell us a little bit about his activism, he worked to get red light cameras removed in Los Angeles. But he's a great guy. He's a really nice guy. But the very interesting thing about this cat is that he is electable. Unlike most libertarians who are just running to fight the good fight, this man has connections in city council. He's worked alongside them, and he's done a lot of lobbying. So my suspicion is that if we get behind him and offer our support, he could actually pull a win off. So I'd like to support Mr. Jay Bieber. LA City Council, District 12. Special election, June 4th.
Okay, thank you.
That was Jay Bieber, B-E-E-B-E-R.
All right, so we have a motion to endorse a candidate, and we had a second. What's that? No, we don't need 14 for that, do we? I've been told he's no party preference. He is a member of the Libertarian Party.
Ineligible to serve in that public office, so presuming he's eligible, and then has not expressed a willingness to accept the endorsement. So have you confirmed his?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I'm the chair for 61, and he came to us specifically to talk to us, so he came to us.
Okay, so we can give him our endorsement. So is there any discussion? Okay, hearing no discussion, is anyone in opposition, or would I do a yes, no? Okay, those in favor of giving the endorsement to Jay Bieber for Los Angeles County, or Los Angeles City Council, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, it was unanimous. Okay, all right, so it looks like we did not do a vote for the endorsement of Scott Meyer for Palm Springs City Council District 1. So, Is there any discussion on that? All right, no discussion. Then we'll move to a vote.
Yeah, excuse me. I'd like to add 1 minute on Scott here. We've got a great opportunity here. If people don't know that Palm Springs was the first city council in the United States to be completely LGBTQ, you know, and Scott's not, but that has nothing to do with it. Scott, what we have is we have some very, very fiscally real liberal people down there, and Scott's going to bring a fiscally conservative libertarian view to a city council and show these people that the party that's been behind their cause since the day we were formed. So that's what Scott has to bring there, at least one of the things I see. So, all right?
Excellent, thank you. Any other discussion on the endorsement? All right. All in favor of endorsing Scott Meyer for Palm Springs City Council, say aye. Aye. All opposed? All right, you've been endorsed unanimously.
So I'd also like to nominate for endorsement from the state party another candidate in Riverside County, and he will be running in 2020. He's going to be running for the city of Menifee, a city of nearly 100,000 people. I believe it. What district is it? District. Which district are you in? District 4 in the city of Menifee and it's got five districts in it. Ricky is a young gentleman that came in, approached us in our county affiliate. He's a retired umpire, believe it or not. He knows how to call them, you know. And it's great. I mean, he's been judging things all his life, but he's got a lot of good ideas. I've been taking him around, introducing him to the mayor and all the city council. I think he's going to have a very good chance. And he's also does a lot of he's in charge of our county outreach too, reaching out to all these junior colleges and other universities, bringing in more. So Ricky would be great. I think he's going to have a very good chance of winning this nonpartisan race. And for that reason, I'd like to nominate him for our party's endorsement. And if you want to see us say a few words.
Good evening, Concord. I'd like to say this has been one of the funnest experiences of my life. I look at every aisle here, and I can honestly say I've met someone or made a good friend in every aisle. And if I haven't met you yet, I'd like to meet you. I was a political science major at UC San Diego. My emphasis was public policy, and this is my passion. I'm excited to be here. And one of the things that makes all of us unique as libertarians is we show up. We actually show up. Everyone here is unique. You all are unique individuals. Why? Because you showed up here today. After studying political science, a little bit about me really quickly. I became a professional baseball umpire in the minor leagues for Major League Baseball. I did that for five years. And when my career ended, I wanted to get back engaged and follow back on my political science degree. And I'm currently finishing up my paperwork for the Air Force Reserve. I'm starting my own organization called the Liberty of Life Organization, which is a charitable organization. I sell hats, and I donate to 3 charities that save lives and protect liberty for people. And so I really picture our values as gaining a lot of momentum in the country, okay? And I really picture our values making us that super shiny city on the top of the hill, okay? And I really want to bring all you guys along with my journey, okay? I'm going to be in Menifee, California, and I look forward to everyone's endorsement and support. Thank you.
Isn't working. Just for clarification, what was the seat that you're running for?
District 4.
Of
the city of Menifee.
Oh, Menifee, I got that
Riverside
wrong.
County.
City of Menifee, District 4, City Council. Okay, so again, we're voting to endorse Ricky Estrada for his seat. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Hearing none, we are endorsing him unanimously. And thank you for doing this. Now, if there's no other endorsement of, there's one more? Oh, there's one more. And then we're going to go to the platform committee. So make sure that Mr. Ward is in the room for that. Oh, he is. I see him.
I nominate for endorsement Aaron Starr for Oxnard City Council. And my brain is full, so I'm going to be brief. Aaron is, as you can tell from his comments earlier, he's working his tail off to get some improvements in this city. He's come very close to winning before. For 21 days, it looked like he was going to be elected. And then the provisional ballots came in, and candidate leapfrogged him. So in a city of 80,000 elected voters, he only lost by 600. So he's very close. He's building his profile, and we're going to do it again.
Okay.
Sorry, my hand's full.
Mr. Starr. And this is it's for all of, is this a district or just for?
So actually, I have a choice I get to make. I can either run for Oxnard Mayor, or I can run for Oxnard City Council District 3. There's trade-offs. I hope I can have your support for either one or both. I don't know if I want to telegraph yet which one I'm running for. I've actually submitted intentions to run for both, and I want to make them both kind of a little nervous. But yeah, Alicia's correct. If I were to run for City Council District 3, I'd be up against the person who defeated me by only 600 votes last time. It looked like I had won by 700 on election day, and then something really strange happened with the provisional ballots, where it was strange. I think it was legitimate, but it was strange. But we're definitely doing our darndest to get a high profile out there. Obviously, we'll be putting several initiatives on the ballot. People know me for the initiatives I've done in the past, the recall. They know for me for defending them against the city's lawsuit. I think that we have a really, really good shot.
Thank you. Okay, so this is a generic endorsement because he's got intentions for 2 seats. So this is just generically for the Oxnard City Council. All those in favor of endorsing Mr. Starr for that seat, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? He is, who said that? Okay, there is one opposed. He's endorsed. Thank you. Thank you for all you're doing. So now, without further ado, we are going to go to the Platform Committee report. So if the chair, Mr. Ward, can come up. Does he need anything on the screen?
Yeah, Angela said she had a lot of stuff on the screen while I was here that she was nervous about that happening. Maybe we should check.
Quick point of information, I have reports if anybody didn't get one.
Okay. And being that everybody has them, we are going to start without it being on the screen because we're checking on how to make that happen because they're still counting those votes. So if there's no objection to, Yeah, so if there's no objection to starting without it being on the screen, we are going to start the report now. Okay, the results for the alternate at large, Jillian Olson with 37 votes, Devin Harris with 35 votes. We will be putting the rest on the screen, but those are the 2 that are elected for the 1-year seat. And now we're doing the platform. Congratulations, both of you.
Point of information?
Yes.
The majority needed?
Oh, we didn't get... Oh, I take that back. We need 44. We can do this. Okay, I'm going to tell you the rest of the votes and we can make a decision. Okay, so Jillian got 37, Devin got 35. The next was Christopher Stair with 33, Eduardo Flores with 23, Mark Hurd with 17, and Gail Lightfoot with 11. We can do this one of two ways. We can take the top two and do it by acclamation, or we can go to another vote.
So moved on acclamation.
It's been moved. Is there a second? Okay, it's moved in second to do this by acclamation. We can do that. Noda is always an option. So we will start with Jillian Olson. Do I need an amendment to that? I don't need an amendment to that. Do I need an amendment to that?
Point of order.
Yeah, so first we're voting on the suspension. So all those in favor of suspending the rules to do this by acclamation in two different votes, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Okay, the ayes have it. We are going to do this by acclamation in two separate votes. Jillian Olson, all in favor of electing Jillian Olson, say aye. Aye. All for Noda? Jillian Olson is elected as alternate at large. We will go to Devin Harris. Again, Noda is always an option. All those in favor of electing Devin Harris for that seat, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? Or for Noda? Okay. Devin has been elected to that position. And without further ado, we are going to go to platform.
Mark Twain once said, I didn't have time to write a short letter, so I had to write a long letter. In previous years, the platform committee hasn't issued a report. If we had just a little bit of time, we would have issued a long report full of recommendations. All right, I'm getting right on the mic. Is that better? Yes. So if we'd had a little bit of time, we could have given a long report full of a lot of recommendations, but because we worked really hard on this to find consensus, at the end, our recommendation is very simple. It is replacing the state platform with the national platform. This shouldn't be a surprise to you. We've worked hard to reach out to everybody, but it's possible that some people could have fallen through the cracks. And I'm sorry if this is the first time you've heard about this, because it's something we should be prepared for. Our recommendation is to do this in two votes. First, voting to remove the entire text of the current platform, and then a second vote to amend it to replace it with the text of the national platform. I will now take questions. No questions.
You're going to make your first motion, which is to, I think you made it, so your first motion is to delete the entire platform, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So on behalf of the committee, you move to delete the platform.
On behalf of the committee, I move to delete the platform.
Okay. It doesn't need a second. This is a committee report. So we will now go to discussion on deletion of the platform. Just as a note, for deletion, it only requires a simple majority vote. And for adoption or anything new or amendments, it requires a 2/3. And that's of the delegates in the room. That's not of the credentialed delegates. We could. It is possible that we could end up with no platform. So, all right, so we're open for discussion on this.
Okay, my name is Sam Sloan. I'm from the great city of San Francisco, and I'm totally 100% or 1,000% or 120,000% against this, because what's the point of having, we are not the National Party. The National Party is a big mess, as Ms. Mattson will tell you, because I've seen her chairing the meetings over there all the time. And it's a completely confused situation with national, and it's a complete mess. So we are not the national. We are California, and why did these people work very hard for the last year to get this all ready to go, and then we're going to throw the whole thing out the door just like that. So, and I think I'm going to win on this one. I think most people here will agree with me that we should have our own bylaws, and we should we're independent of the national. Thank you.
Thank you. Starchild.
I am also to speak again, so I don't know if you want to do it in alternating order.
I would like to do alternating orders. So is there anybody speaking in favor? Okay, so the next person would be Mr. Starr.
Many state affiliates have no state platform. They often rely to the national platform. We spend a lot of time putting together state platform, debating it, arguing over it. And to be candid, folks, I never refer people to the state platform because, candidly, it's not readable. And it's, you know, I think that if you want people to read something, it needs to be readable. And we don't have that today. I get it that there are people that are vested many years in their life building up this platform, but what you find over time is that you accumulate stuff, and you just accumulate, and you don't trim down to the basic message. And the one nice thing about the national platform is that it is very, very readable. It gets our principles across. I wouldn't mind having a few planks here of our own that are state-specific. I just think the national platform just reads so well. I never refer people to the state platform, ever, when they're asking me for views on libertarianism. I always refer them to the national platform just because it's readable. Thank you.
Okay, Starchild.
Yes, I'm here to speak very passionately in favor of keeping this platform. If there's specific material in it that people feel is outdated or unreadable, that should be identified. I don't think it's unreadable at all. I think there's a lot of very powerful and important language in here. And there's stuff that's state-specific, like opposing the top two voting system that's hurt our candidates and chances for winning elected office in the state so badly. You know, the national platform doesn't talk about that. It doesn't talk about the right to secession or the right or withdrawing California National Guard troops, you know, from the border. There's a lot of stuff that I think libertarians should address on the state level. You know, we're not the same as the entire United States, and it would be very easy to gut this platform. It would also be very divisive, and we're going to be fighting about this for years, and it would take a long time, if ever, to get back the level of strong detail in the work that's been done over the years in coming up with the language that we have here. I don't believe the platform is meant to be read cover to cover like a novel. The platform is a statement of our vision where you can go and see where we stand on a particular topic. And if somebody in California is interested in a particular issue and they want to find out where the Libertarian Party stands on that issue, I want them to be able to look at our platform and see that, yes, we say something about that issue. And if they are pro-freedom on that issue, they will see that we understand about it enough to write something detailed about it, and that we stand in solidarity with them on that issue. I don't want them to go to our platform and find just a broad statement of some general freedom that they may not be able to see as relating to their particular issue. I don't want them to see that we say nothing about, you know, certain types of personal reproductive freedom or education in California or other topics important to our state. Water is a huge issue in this state. The national platform says nothing about water. Time, you say?
It's been 2 minutes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Please vote this down.
So I'm going to ask that Mr. Ward would like to speak in favor of his motion on behalf of the committee. So I would like to allow Mr. Ward to come up and do that, since I believe he's getting preference as the mover.
Well, like I said, there was a little bit of confusion there. I guess I didn't prepare well enough because I thought I'd be taking questions. I do have answers to most of these, and if people had phrased it as a point of inquiry, I would have been able to respond. In committee, our intention of going to the national platform was not simply to stick with the national platform forever. we will have another opportunity to amend this again next year. The reason, these are all very legitimate concerns about including California-specific items, but it was really to avoid an endless discussion or an impasse that we wanted to limit the text to something that was relatively uncontroversial.
Thank you. Okay, next will be Mr. Brown speaking in opposition.
Yes.
Well, that
Anyway.
was an in favor, so.
That was in favor.
Actually, I know that there's at least one in favor in line, so.
Okay. So anyway, I'm vehemently opposed to deleting the platform and putting in the national platform. There are several reasons for this. I agree with what Starchild said completely, that there are California-specific issues, and in the national platform, there are some federal issues that really don't need to be in our state platform. The state platform, well, actually, the way our rules are, if we delete the platform by majority vote, doesn't mean we're going to have 2/3 vote to put in the national platform as a replacement. So that means that we might have no platform. And maybe somebody likes that, maybe not. But I believe that I agree with Starchild. It is a readable document. It's been prepared for decades. It's been changed over the years. Unfortunately, we don't have enough time usually to change some of the items or update some of the items that need to be updated. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't do that. I've been a member for 40 years of the California LP. And you know, I was chairman of the platform committee for 15 years during one period of time, and was involved in a lot of the writing of various planks in the platform. And the committee would meet every year and would go through all the depredations of government that had happened during the past year. That's why the judicial plank is the longest plank in the platform. There's like 20-some provisions in there because more laws are being passed all the time that ruin California liberties. And they're very California-specific. And we need to show our views on the California issues. Our platform is long, but it also is not necessarily just for the public. It's also for internal education as well. If somebody's a new member, they might say, well, how does the libertarian principle apply to this issue or that issue? For example, there's an insurance plank. Well, how does libertarianism apply to insurance? I mean, it's not obvious right out of the gate, but and there are a number of planks like that. So I urge you to keep the platform and vote down the proposal by the platform committee.
Okay, next I would have, I'm going to ask if somebody is in favor. Okay, so the next person in favor, please come to the front of the line. Did you get in?
Mimi asked that I be the coordinator for the platform committee this year. I discussed the options with various members, including Mimi. As we developed our committee, I spoke with everybody on the committee. Now, keep in mind that the committee is composed of representatives from every single team. In the process of making this decision, every single member of the committee went back to their counties and asked, what do you think? Is this a good idea? Please read the California platform. Now read the national platform. Which reads better? Which do you think is more representative of your ideals? Which do you think you would share? And if you go to the report, you can see the research conducted prior. We've got a few statistics there. The more we dug into it, the more we found that people prefer a more simple document. They like the national platform better, partly because it's shorter, but also it just reads much better. It's not so clunky. Another point I'd like to make is we've had a lot of things in this party for a lot of years. And I think it's time to try to do better. I'd like to stop with that.
I've also been a chair of a platform committee, and I can say that the discussions in our committee were competitive but healthy, and I think the discussions of the planks were healthy. I'm against top-down. I'm against centralized management. Here we complain about Washington, and now we're going to let centralization be on our platform. It's just not the way to do it. I know some people don't like some things in the platform, and this is a cheap, easy way to get rid of those things. I don't think we should take the easy way. I think we should do it the way our procedures, have it, hash it out. We have time between now and the next convention. If our platform needs fixing up, let's fix it. I volunteer to be on the committee next time.
Okay, next, is there another person speaking in favor? Okay, the next person in line speaking in favor, please come forward.
Hi, I'm Jason Quintero out of Solano County, and I was on the platform committee. I got to say that if I was to join the Libertarian Party and I was to read the platform, the California platform first, I would not join the party because it is super specific. It is crazy, 38 pages. It's too specific, it's too restrictive for us, for our candidates to work through. It's ridiculous. And that's why I want to be on the committee to overturn this thing. It was important for me to see us go to the national platform because it is simple, it's easy to read, and it doesn't tie us and our candidates into corners that we can't get out of, that we can't work around. So I fully endorse the national platform. Thank you.
Next person opposed?
First, I have a quick question for the chair of the committee, which is relevant to my comment. Several people have mentioned the fact that the national platform does not cover state issues, and our current platform does cover many state issues, both planks that address state issues and mentions within more general planks of state laws and things. My question is, how much time did the platform committee spend addressing this question? Did you attempt to analyze our platform and figure out how many state issues were in there, make a list of them, anything like that?
Yes, we did. We surveyed the platform internally, and we asked everybody to I personally asked members of the Santa Clara County to give me a list of what they thought was most important in the current state platform, and
So did you make a list?
As a result of voting on that, we made a list of 12 items, then voted on that as a committee. The ones that at least two members supported were 6. I wrote a draft of that. We came up with a whole...
Okay, so my point is, you came up with a list, you saw that there were issues, and some of them you didn't personally, or the people on the committee didn't care about. However, our bylaws say, the party platform shall consist of a number of planks which state the party position on specific state and national issues. If we do what you are proposing to do, our platform will say nothing about state issues. This will be not in the spirit of our bylaws. As I see it, it's an abdication by the platform committee of their job to come up with a platform that does this job, and it will be an abdication by this convention if it adopts your recommendation of our responsibility as representatives of the Libertarian Party of California to speak out on state issues, which is mandated by our bylaws.
My response was just that up until the very end, we were going to recommend a series of amendments to create a California-specific section. We did put a lot of work into that. The thing is, those amendments are so important, we deserve a whole year to think about that rather than one day. And because I know a lot of people don't get or think about the platform committee report until they get it in their hands.
Come back next year with that
Okay, so, now we're going to go to the next person speaking in, this would be the next person speaking in, for the motion.
I'm against
it. No, because the last one was Jodine, and he asked the question.
He spoke in favor.
No, but he asked the question, he was responding with the final question, so it will go to somebody that's in support next, and then somebody in opposition.
Yes. Oh, sorry.
Yes, go.
Yes, I'd like to speak in favor of the motion. As Jason Quintero mentioned, it's 38 pages long. It is so unwieldy. It is so unmanageable. We did everything. I attended many of the platform committee meetings. It's impossible to untangle this ball of yarn that has been wound and wound and wound for years. We could spend a full day on the platform every year for the next 38 years and not get it right. It's time to start with a new whiteboard, get the dumpster there, put the national platform in. We can add these back in piece by piece. That's the best way to do it. It's the way to get a clean platform so that when people go to our site to see what are we about, they don't end up with this mess. That's it.
Next person speaking in opposition, Mr. Hinkle.
All right, several things. When the National Party gutted their party platform in 2008, it was a very divisive, Portland. It was Portland. It was a very divisive move, and I believe that was one of our low points as far as membership. So it drove people away from the Libertarian Party, not toward the Libertarian Party. A couple of other issues. If you look at the party platform plank for California, our reproductive rights plank is much stronger than the National Party's plank. I think it's much more explicitly pro-choice than the National Party's plank. So by voting for this, you're going to get rid of that. Also, historically, the California Libertarian Party has never taken a position on the death penalty because we've never achieved the 2/3 vote. The National Party, in fact, has taken a position against the death penalty. I happen to be against the death penalty, but if you jettison this, then you're by default assuming that that our party endorses the death penalty, endorses the absence of the abolishment of the death penalty. So again, I think this is very divisive. You can see by the comments made, pro and con, it's very divisive. And one last comment I would make, and I've said this for decades, if anybody is using this document as a marketing tool, you're an idiot. If you want to persuade people the position of the Libertarian Party, write a white paper, create a brochure, put graphs, do everything. This is our platform. It does not say it's a marketing tool. It is a platform. It's what we stand for. And again, all the issues that are specific to California are going to be eliminated. I think that's a tragic mistake. Don't make it.
Before we go to the next person, time has expired on this. We've gone past the 15 minutes, so we would need a motion to extend time.
So moved.
For how long? Okay, it's been moved by Starchild to extend time by 20 minutes. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor of extending time by 20 minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? It fails. Is there a motion to extend time by a lesser amount of time?
10-minute extension.
It's been moved. That came first. Mr. Brown moved to extend time by 10 minutes. It was seconded. All those in favor of extending time by 10 minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Nay.
Yeah, it didn't sound like 2/3. Well, that's what happens. If there's not another motion to extend time, the question's now been called. Time has expired. Orders of the day are that we are going to go to a vote. This is a deletion of platform planks, so it only requires a simple majority of those present.
Can this be done by standing vote, just to be sure?
We can do that. So all those in favor of deleting the platform, please. Everybody needs to sit first. Everybody in the back, everybody needs to sit so we get this right. Somebody's standing, but okay. Okay, down. Please sit down for a sec. I'm sorry. Everybody sit down. Quickly. Okay. All those in favor of deleting the platform, please stand up. Okay, everybody sit down. All those in favor of keeping the platform, please stand up. It passes. The platform has been deleted. Okay, so now we can go on to the next portion of the platform committee report. Yes. It was 36 to 32, simple majority. We have quorum in the room, so we do have quorum in the room, so it's those who vote. It doesn't mean that everybody in the room has to vote. I'm sorry, your wing.
Madam Chair, can we go to the next item so we can add a platform in now?
Yes.
Call for quorum.
If you call for quorum, we can't put in a new platform right now. You got it in the room. You got it. He wasn't recognized. Let's have some fun.
So half of 136. There were 68 votes, and I didn't vote. Yes.
Madam Chair, could you note my abstention on the vote? I was here, but I abstained.
Okay, but we have quorum, and it doesn't need an abstention. It was just a simple majority.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Given the closeness of the vote, I ask for a counting vote.
So you've called for division? Okay, it's been moved and seconded to call for division on the previous vote.
How many people does it take to call for division?
So we need
10 or 14?
Isn't it standing second?
Wait, no, it's 14. 10%.
Can I just ask if 10 people will stand up?
Yeah, well, this requires. Oh, okay.
Can we delete the bylaws?
If I just do a standing, it's going to be over 10, so that's safe, isn't it? Okay. Okay, so are there 10 people in this room that object to the chair's ruling and want division? That the vote passed. And division is saying that you're objecting to my ruling of the vote.
It's objecting to your count.
Or my count of the vote.
That you didn't count right.
I didn't count right. Okay, there's 10 people, so we will go to a count off. So I need everybody in the room. Okay, all right. So I want everybody to stand up. If you're in favor of deletion, I want you to stand up, and then you're going to count off.
A point of parliamentary inquiry. We have a member who just joined the party, and I'm wondering if she is eligible to participate in debate.
She is not.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Just so we're clear, the only people that can vote at this... The only people that can vote right now are the people that just voted.
Correct.
Yes.
Yes. It's only the people that voted. This is a call for division on the previous counted vote. So it's only the people that voted that can vote.
Madam Chairman, point of parliamentary inquiry.
Yes.
So what that means is if you didn't vote the first time and you were out doing something else, you're not eligible to vote right now. Is that correct?
The vote, that is correct. The vote has already been cast. This is a call for division on that vote total. We're recounting the same vote in a different way.
People have to vote the same way. We're just counting.
Okay. Okay, so we're going to do this. So everybody stand up. Hold up your delegate ribbon. As you count off, he will point at you and sit. You're going to start over here with number 1 and go ahead.
Sit.
Once you vote, you have to sit.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
10,
11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23.
No, you're 23. No, we lost one.
Up front.
No.
No, up front.
Up front.
Sorry.
Oh, and I'm not voting.
37.
I was wrong. It was 37, not 36. Okay, we're going to finish this, though. All those opposed, please stand. And you're going to count off again. Of people that voted the first time.
1, 2, 3.
No, wait. Start over because we just counted some people over here that said their numbers, and stand up again and start over. Wait till you're pointed at to count. And the best way is to do one side and then the next. Sorry.
2, 3,
4, 5,
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 18, 20, 21,
22.
27.
More people voted last time. I might have counted people standing up in the back, but it passes. Now we're going to go on to the next.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
Would you please note my abstention? Anybody wants to know why afterwards, I'll be happy to explain it.
Okay, please note that there was an abstention.
I abstain.
So we will note, yes, we will note the abstention, and we will ask Mr. Ward for his next motion.
On behalf of the Platform Committee, I move for the adoption of the same text as the national platform, as the state platform.
Okay. Once again, we're going to go to discussion. There's 15 minutes for discussion on this. Stand up and speak.
I want some clarification from the chair of the committee. So what I'd like to know is if we adopt this motion, and just in a hypothetical world, let's say we didn't adopt any new planks next year, and the National Committee changes, the National Convention changes their platform, have we automatically adopted the new platform? Oh, so is it the text as it changes, or is it just the text as it's fixed right now?
The platform committee only has authority to change the platform, not the bylaws, so there's no provision to keep it up to date automatically.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay, we go to discussion.
I had a point of information, but it probably isn't germane anymore, but I want to say it anyway. I remember 2008, we basically removed our opposition to one of the biggest fascist programs anywhere in the history of the world, which is the war on drugs. Has, since 2008, anyone of knowledge of the national platform, have we put our opposition to the war on drugs back in? Okay, thank you.
Okay, now we're at discussion. Ms. Keller?
I'm gonna speak in favor, but before I do that, I really would appreciate it if the committee, somebody on the committee would give their reasoning before we start the discussion so that they can cover some of the things that keep coming up.
What I can do, he's already made the presentation of the motion. It's already gone to discussion. I can ask that Mr. Ward be up here in case there's questions that I can direct to him if it's a point of information or a question of inquiry. Is that?
Yeah, that's fine. It's just my local group, we had a representative on the committee, so we're feeling informed about what the reasoning was and the back and forth, but some people are new to it, and I didn't hear any real discussion of some of the details about what they were talking about.
Okay.
So,
all right. So if you have a point of inquiry, let me know. If not, if you're speaking in favor or opposed, please do so.
So speaking in favor, my name is Sandra Callender, Contra Costa County. I traveled 2 miles to get here. But I was in Portland for the national convention and happily voted to get rid of that platform because I'm a writer. And writing by committee over many, many years of time is horrible, torturous process. It really helps to have somebody like a Thomas Jefferson or whatever writing some stuff that's really good and then having input and editing and then rewriting. But there comes a point where it's just impossible. We get into arguments over semicolons, and it doesn't serve us internally or externally. And I know people say it's not a marketing thing, but it is a public document. So since it's public, I think we should show our best side. I'm pleased that I voted in Portland to get rid of that because the result that we got later on was so much better than what it was before, in my opinion. And this is a process. It's not a moment in time. It doesn't mean we repealed our opposition to the war on drugs if we don't have anything in that platform, because a piece of paper is not where we get our rights from. So I'm speaking in favor of whatever anybody wants to do. I don't care if we have no platform for a year and work on a replacement.
Okay, the motion right now, just to be clear, this motion right now is to replace, to basically adopt the national platform. This is not to have no platform.
No.
If this motion fails, then we will have no platform.
I think it's better than nothing, but I wouldn't. The world won't end.
But right now, what we're speaking on, just so everybody's clear, that's what we're speaking on, is the motion to adopt the national platform. Okay. The next person, so is somebody speaking in opposition to this motion?
I'm not sure if it's in opposition or just a point of inquiry.
You can do a point of inquiry.
Mark Suarez, Ventura County, point of inquiry. By a comment brought up by Mr. Dean, he said within the bylaws that our platform must address state issues and the national platform does not. Does that, in sense, violate our bylaws and delegitimize the adoption of this platform?
I'm going to refer this to the parliamentarian to answer that question of inquiry. And as it happens, she does know about the national platform as well, so.
All right, I have chaired the National Platform Committee for a number of years, for 2008 up until the last convention. And I do have a copy of the National Platform here. If during debate somebody wants to come eyeball it, I will show you the National Platform on my screen, but you can also pull it up on your screen. But there are a large number of generic subjects which definitely apply to the state. You know, general concepts, personal liberty, your rights to make choices for yourselves and accept the consequences, the concept of self-ownership, freedom of expression and communication, personal privacy and government transparency. So the broad concepts in the national platform, I think, definitely apply to many, many, many state issues, and it's written that way on purpose to speak in general terms, and then can be applied to a number of subjects. So I think it does apply.
Ask the people in the back of the room to cease their conversation, take it out the room, please.
Does the chair want to do that?
Please, if you're going to have discussions that are interrupting the business, please go outside of the room. And thank you.
Okay, not a problem.
So I'll just summarize. I think absolutely a lot of state issues are also covered by the broad range of the national platform. But if you want to see specifics, come up here. I'll let you take a look. Okay.
And the next person speaking.
Yeah, my name is Brendan Nelson. I'm the Northern Area Coordinator-elect, and I am the Vice Chair of Solano County. I would like to speak in favor and call the question.
The question's been called. Is there any objection to calling the question? It's been objected to. All those in favor of ending debate and calling the question, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Nay.
The ayes have it. Debate is closed. We go to an immediate vote. All those in favor, and this does take a 2/3 vote, so of registered delegates, and it's no less than a majority. I mean, it's 2/3 of the people on the floor, but no less than 50%. It's 50% of registered delegates. So, okay. So I'm going to have all those in favor of adopting the national platform.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
I'd like to ask for a 5-minute recess so that we can get people in the room, so we can make sure we have enough people here to vote on this. I think it's very important that we get people in the room to vote on this motion. I don't want it to die because of a lack of people. So I'm asking for a 5-minute recess so we can adopt.
It's been moved for a 5-minute recess. Is there a second? All those in favor of recessing for 5 minutes, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Nay. The ayes have it. We're recessed for 5 minutes. Come back in the room by 4:35.
That's okay. took this cheap, easy way out to clean out stuff they don't like. There's a process. But it's people don't like wording of certain things. So I say they should get those thrown out through the process, through the committee, through voting on it, throw it out. But this is just a legal trick. Quite a bit. 60 something. Yeah. A majority of the registered delegates. She said 2/3. No, 2/3 of what's here. Of the registered delegates. No, 2/3 of the voters. But 1/2. Whichever is less. And 2/3 of this is 45 or 50, 40 something. So it's going to take 40 something to pass. I don't think there's any problem in not having one. That's another thing. Well, hey, no, that's another thing. No, you can ask for a forum, and you get enough people that will vote, just walk out, and then it's over. Because well, no, but then they can 2/3 on the floor. But like I said, I don't know what people want to do. That's the whole point of it. The whole point is this is an easy, cheap way to get all of the radical terminology out of the platform. I actually don't like a lot of the radical terminology, to be perfectly honest. But like I said, I believe we should go through the process. It should, in committee, those should have been debated and delete all of the crap that people don't like. So I'm with the people that want to clean it up, actually, but I'm totally against the way they're doing it. This is the typical thing that makes division in the past.
I'm not going to be a
And
part
the
of
text of it currently.
no platform.
I'm just getting people to sit down. Okay, everybody sit down. We're being called back to order. I'm calling back to order at 4:33. I want to be very clear on what we're voting on. Everybody get in the room if you're going to be in the room. And if you don't want to be in the room, leave. I just called it back to order, and that is exactly what they're doing. Okay, we have quorum.
Point of information.
Yes, Mr. Brown.
Yeah. Is the statement of principles, which ours is different than national, is it part of the platform or is it in and of itself?
It is part of our platform as it's the Roman numeral 1. It's not separate.
It's not Roman numeral 1, but
Oh, it's Roman numeral. Oh, I see what you're saying. You're saying because national has the statement of principle before the planks. Is that what you're saying?
Well, no, I was asking whether if the statement of principles is separate from the platform, so.
Not in the state's version. It is in the national version, but it's not. Oh, it's not in the national version. It's part of the platform. And it's part of the platform in ours as well.
Point of information?
Yes.
if this motion on the floor fails and our bylaws stipulate that we have to have a party platform, does that invalidate the prior vote to eliminate the party platform?
I checked on this before we started because I knew this was coming, and there is nothing that says that we have to have a platform.
Although, doesn't our bylaws make reference to the platform?
It says what it shall be, but it doesn't say.
It says that it makes reference, but it doesn't say thou shalt have a platform.
You folks.
And I'm going to suggest that if people don't like, you know, if the delegates, well, anyway, we may want to look at our bylaws. Okay, so we are done with discussion. We have already had the question called. We are now going to a vote. Yes, point of informations are, Star Child, he's about to make a point of information and you're standing next to the mic. I'm sorry.
Do you want to stand next to me, Star Child? You can if you want. Okay, all right. I want to know the motion that we actually voted on, because that was, as it was written in the platform report, it had a part that it says, it must be understood that this vote is warranted only in anticipation of the next stage. I think some people might have thought that that meant that if the next stage failed, the first vote failed as well. Is that not what we voted on?
The motion that he made was that we adopt the text of the national platform. There was no other provision. He didn't present.
Not the current motion, the previous motion. The previous motion when we deleted it. So the motion when we deleted it, in the platform report, the way that they worded it, it says, a vote by simple majority to remove the text of the current platform. It must be understood that this vote is warranted only in anticipation of the next stage.
It's an anticipation. It doesn't say that it makes it null and void.
Good luck.
They're stating an intention to do another step. Is this a point of inquiry?
Yes. Would, given what the gentleman just observed, the language that this second stage, that the first vote would only be warranted in anticipation of the second stage passing, and if the second stage does not have the votes to pass, would a move to reconsider the first vote be in order?
No, I would say that it would not be in order.
May I inquire on what basis you would make that ruling, Madam Chair?
Because the motion that he made that was voted on, that I repeated, was deletion of all planks of the platform. There was no provision given when he made the motion.
So it didn't have that language about being warranted, because that's what was written on the paper.
That was in his report, but when he actually made the motion, which I repeated back several times on all of the different votes, the way it was read back was, this is to delete the entire platform. There was no provision after that. I mean, you're welcome to, appeal my ruling, but that is what the motion was that was as stated. Okay, so we're going to a vote on this because the question was already called. I am going to do this as a standing count. I'm gonna do this as a division. I'm gonna make the decision to do this by division with standing vote. It takes a supermajority of the delegates voting in the room. So everybody that is in favor of adopting the text of the national platform, please stand up. Point of order. Yes.
Okay, point of order. This is Elizabeth Brierly from Santa Clara. Robert's Rules of Order, 11th edition. A report or long motion consisting of a series of resolutions, paragraphs, articles, or sections that are not totally separate questions can be considered by opening the different parts to debate and amendment separately without a division of the question. This is for the parliamentarian. This is section 28, paragraph 15. Line 15, page 276. If the chair does not follow such a course of his own accord and the assembly wishes to do so, the procedure can be ordered by adopting a motion to consider by paragraph or to consider seriatim. Several distinct main motions on different subjects cannot be considered seriatim if a single member objects. See standard characteristics 8 below. Sorry, I just was running to my car to get the Roberts, so I'm a little out of breath. Sorry.
You could have borrowed mine. I would have given it to you.
Huh?
You could have borrowed mine. I would have given it to you. You didn't have to run to your
now
car.
Now you tell me.
I have one. So, okay, so your point, this is a point of order? Yeah, is this a point of order? Is this a motion? What
this
is
is a point of order.
Right now
I'd like the parliamentarian to take a look at that.
Okay. No, okay.
I make a motion to consider by Syria team.
I have a question, and I'm asking this question because this is my first convention that I've ever chaired. You guys are doing some really weird stuff on me. I don't want to get it wrong. So, my question is, if the question has already been called and we have a motion on the floor that is now going to a vote, would it be in order for another motion to be presented at this time?
No.
We're already at the time of the vote. If it's a point of order asking me to rule on something.
Madam Chair, would you please rule on this question I just raised? May I make a motion to?
But it's a parliamentary inquiry.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
There was some confusion. I joined the California party today, but I'm not a voting delegate.
Correct.
I haven't had the 90 whatever. And she had made that on my behalf because I don't know, am I allowed to raise a point of order?
Okay. Is she allowed to speak if this body gives her permission?
Yes.
It will take 2/3.
But there were several items. She can't make motions.
Right, but she can speak.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
We're in the middle of a vote.
Okay, I know we're at the point of the vote. Again, that's my question, and my question to the parliamentarian is, at this point, we are already at a vote, so if it's a point of order and I need to rule on something, she can do that, but if it's additional motion, I cannot do that, correct?
Her point of order is related to a hypothetical that didn't happen. So points of order are about if a motion for seriatim had been mishandled or whatever, but nobody made a motion to consider them separately, and we are, the time to do that is during debate. We closed debate. We're now at the point of a vote, so no more motions can be made. I don't think we violated any process.
Okay, is there any objection by the body to hearing from Karen Ann Harlos for just a brief moment? She's got her hand up.
What is the nature of her, if she's here to debate, no.
No, it's not I do not believe it's a debate. I think you just have a quick, you're going to be trying to, we've got to kind of move this along. So we are at the point of a vote right now, so.
Well, but there were people who didn't know how to call a point of order. There were 2 points of order, and with all due respect to the body, I don't think everyone here was so parliamentary sophisticated that they knew they had the option to consider seriation.
Objection. I'm sorry. Objection.
Okay.
But the second point of order, Madam Chair, was that there was a question whether a motion to reconsider would be in order, and actually someone voting on the winning side could do a motion to reconsider.
Okay, and if we do that, first we're at a vote right now. And they were, yeah, so we're at the vote now. If this fails,
the person asking for the vote, if a motion to reconsider would be in order, and said no. And I would have stood up and said point of order, but I'm very unclear as to my rights here. And some of the people around me, they just don't know Roberts that well. I mean, I think a lot of people don't. We can't. That's always that.
okay.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
Would a motion to suspend the rules to consider a motion to allow Ms. Harlos to speak be in order? Suspension of the rules.
Okay, it's been objected to. Yeah, we're out of debate. We're at the, but she's made a motion to suspend the rules to do this. You are allowed to do that.
Hold on, with the point of order, and you want Karen to speak on your behalf.
Okay. We have closed debate, so that would.
Point of order. I'm unclear of my point of order. I'd like Karen's help explaining.
Okay, I believe that we are at the time to take a vote on this motion.
The motion to suspend the rules or another motion?
We're at the main motion where we had people standing to vote. I think we need to complete that before another motion is made. And we're out of debate time, so all those in favor, please stand, hold up your badges, and we're going to do a counting vote. Okay, quiet. Everybody be sure that if you're standing, you're voting in favor of this. Hold up your things, and we're going to do a counting vote. Do not vote until you're pointed at. Start over. And sit down as soon as you've finished voting.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12,
13,
14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 25, 26, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 38, 40, 41, 42, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 53, 54, 55, 56.
Okay, 56 in favor. All those opposed, please stand. Hold up your badges and your votes will be counted. Oh, 56.
Two, three, hold on. 4. You go ahead and sit.
5.
6, 7, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14.
No resolutions? Okay. All right.
Point of
So,
order. Oh, sorry.
Can I announce this first, please? The motion passed, 56 in favor, 14 opposed. I hear a point of order. Yes, it has to be a majority of all delegates. It's 56 in favor.
No, I mean, what was the opposition number?
14.
So that meets the 2/3, but there are 69 registered delegates.
It fails. I screwed up.
Point of order.
Yes.
Is adopting a blank the same thing as adopting an entirely new platform?
Yes. Okay, so
Point of order.
we did not get enough votes in favor. I called it too quickly. I apologize. It failed, and now we've got a point of order. Well, Elizabeth, are you doing a point of order? Because I think there's points of order behind you.
Yeah. It appears that Seriatim is the default. Section 28, page 277, lines 33 through 36.
Okay, the parliamentarian is opening up the Roberts to those pages. Which
277, 33.
Yes. I believe that they're bringing this up for the previous motion that passed already. And my question is, would that even be in order? So at this point, can they?
It's not mandatory. I mean, I got a point of order. There's another one pending, so that's
Okay, you guys, I'm just going to give a little suggestion here. Right now we have no platform. That motion failed. The motion to get rid of the platform could now be revisited by somebody that voted the opposite way of. If somebody voted to delete, wanted to change their vote, they could bring a motion to reconsider. But it would have to be somebody that voted.
No.
No.
You have to be on the prevailing side.
It has to be somebody that voted in the prevailing side. I'm not saying anything like I'm making any kind of motion. I'm just throwing it out there, Mr. Starr.
Okay. I think at this point we're not going to be. I'm sad that we didn't adopt national platform. Considering that we've already done resolutions, already done endorsements. We've already done.
We haven't. I don't know if there was any other resolutions.
There may not be, but you know what? It's almost 5 p.m. Some of us would like to drive home. I'm moving to adjourn.
Okay, it's been moved to adjourn with objections. She's saying it was pending point of order on the first one. Okay, one moment. Okay, so was it a point of, in your point of inquiry or part of parliamentary inquiry, it was found in those pages that, can you please say that again? I thought that she had said this, but can you please?
Oh, about seriatim?
Yeah.
She was asking about whether seriatim is the default procedure. It says it's normal and advisable, but that doesn't mean required.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to say that it's normal and advisable, but not necessarily required. You can. Yes.
I move as a lifetime member of the state of California and a voting member of this body that we recognize our new member and an incredible expert and activist in the party who's been around for a long time to weigh in on this, and recognize Karen Ann Harlos for up to 5 minutes or as long as she feels necessary to weigh in on this.
Okay, so that's out of order at this moment, just because we have two things going on here, and I just want to make sure that I'm doing this right. There was a point of order. Are you saying that in your point of order it wasn't answered sufficiently?
I believe, and Ms. Bradley can let me know, that the point of order was directed even back to the first.
No, it was back to the first motion.
So that where Robert says, it doesn't just say advisable, it says unless the body chooses not to.
It says advisable and normal, but not required, was what I was told.
Right, so I was paraphrasing.
She was paraphrasing.
Unless the assembly.
It says can be applied to the main motion amendments of
All right, so regardless of what that sorts out to be, the normal and advisable, I paraphrase, is not required. But that point of order should be raised at the time that we didn't vote. We've already moved on.
Thanks, Bob.
So at this point, we have a motion to adjourn. Should just take a second to see it.
Sari, I'm sorry, may I continue my point of order?
She's got mine, so that would be. Okay, so we have a motion to adjourn. Let me just, because that was made, Is there a standing second for the motion to adjourn? I'm going to ask for a standing second of a minimum of 14 people. This is to adjourn. Just everybody know, this is a standing motion. Okay, it's a standing second for a motion to adjourn. It's been moved and seconded to adjourn. Is there any discussion on adjournment that is debatable?
Point of information, if we adjourn right now, does that mean that the Libertarian Party of California has no party platform, and therefore will all references to the party platform be deleted from website and any publications?
Party principle.
Party principle.
And violate the bylaws.
And the bylaws.
It will not be removed in reference to the bylaws, no. That would take bylaws.
So we'll have bylaws that reference the party principle, but we won't have any principles.
Let me make my motion.
Okay. Folks, this is what's happened with unintended consequences.
Okay, ordinary adjournment is not debatable, so therefore it's been moved and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor of adjourning, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed?
Nay.
Okay, we are not adjourning. We are continuing with, I don't know what.
I resubmit my motion to recognize Karen Ann Harlos.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to, this is going to require a 2/3 vote of the body to recognize Karen Ann Harlos.
For what purpose is she going to make a statement here? Because she's not a delegate.
I understand that. That's why we need a 2/3 vote to recognize her, and she's going to be speaking on the issue that Ms. Brierly has brought up. And it requires 2/3 of a vote to do this. So, all those in favor of recognizing Karen Ann Harlos for 5 minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay.
Nay.
Point of order.
Yes. The motion failed.
Did we ever have a determination on your comment about whether we were going to consider whether somebody who voted for it is now going to stand up and make that motion? Was that already dead and buried?
No.
Well,
somebody
let's
can
do
do
it.
that.
Let's finish what you started.
Nobody's done it, but it is something that could be done. That's all. Right now, where we're really at is we're at resolutions. That's the next agenda item, unless there's anything else on platform of anything we've done. Yes, Mr. Smith.
I would like to propose a motion that the Libertarian Party of California adopts the National Statement of Principles as their platform.
That would be in order. Okay, I need a standing second. And I need a standing point of order. Who's got the point of order?
Point of order?
Yes.
I'm not an expert on Roberts, but it was pointed out to me that the parliamentarian was voting during these votes, and the parliamentarian is not supposed to be voting. Perhaps we could get a second opinion on that, since the parliamentarian in this case would have a conflict of interest in being the one to respond to that inquiry.
She is a credentialed delegate. And last year, Kim Goldsworthy, he voted, and he was a credentialed delegate.
Okay. Again, I'm not an expert. I'm just raising the.
A very long time ago, because I know that historically, anybody that's a credentialed voting delegate can vote, and our parliamentarian last year did as well. Okay, so we just had a motion made by Mr. Smith to adopt the Statement of Principles of the National Platform. This is different than our last motion because the last was to adopt the entire platform. We need a standing second of 14 people. All those that would like to second this motion, please stand. Okay, we've got far more than 14. Is there discussion on this?
Opposition?
Yes, the first person would be the person opposed.
Mark Hinkle, Santa Clara County. I'm going to speak in opposition, not because I don't think we need a party platform, but specifically because we do need a party platform. If this fails, my intention is to somehow, some way, figure out a way to appeal this to the Judicial Committee and have it overturn the ridiculous decision this body made.
Okay. Next person would be somebody speaking in favor.
So I think this is a good starting point. I mean, I think that the statement of principles, I would hope, is something that we can all agree on. And I think it's a good starting point so that next year we can come to the convention and actually have a platform report that adopts both state and national specific platform planks. So I am in favor of this motion.
Okay, before the next person, this is a point of order.
Point of information.
A point of inquiry is really not a privileged motion, but I go ahead.
I just want to know what is that. I can't read it, but I know enough that I know whether I like it or not. And I'm not.
Alicia? Yes. Okay, the next person talking will be voting, or will be speaking in opposition. Oh, I'm sorry.
I thought you recognized it.
I did. I got sidetracked because somebody walked over to me. Go ahead. Yes, that is the statement of principle.
That would be what we would adopt if we adopted it.
Correct. That is the national statement. I am so sorry. I thought I answered, but then I got distracted by people putting books in my face. Next person who wants to speak in opposition.
Yes. Ricky Estrada from Riverside County. If this motion fails to adopt the national principles, it will be very, very difficult to get the supermajority to adopt the national platform. So should this fail, I'd like to propose a motion to suspend the rules and move to a simple majority to adopt the national platform.
We've already done that. You can't suspend bylaws, and we've already actually done that motion. Next person speaking in favor of the motion.
Well, I'd like to speak in favor, but I have no problem with him going in front of me if that's all
Is he
right.
speaking in opposition?
He is. Is that acceptable?
It's supposed to go back and forth, but if Kevin, go ahead.
Okay.
Please.
I would say perhaps not everyone will feel the same as me, but we've done our duty by getting rid of the obnoxious 30-page long platform. So rather than rushing to adopt the Statement of Principles of National, we can refer people to the Statement of Principles of National, and we can instead spend the next year coming up with something unique to California and proposing a platform that is ours. So I'm just not in a hurry to adopt the national. So you might disagree with me, but that's my 2 cents.
Okay. And
Hello.
you're speaking the opposite
In favor.
way. Okay.
Yes, I'd like to speak in favor of adopting the National Statement of Principles and call the question.
Okay, the question's been called. Is there any objection to calling the question? It's been objected to.
I'd like to do a substitute motion for the California principles.
Can we first get through this? The question's been called. However, there has been a quorum call.
It hasn't been recognized yet.
No, I believe a quorum call trumps voting. Or not Trump. I don't like Trump, but oops.
You know what? I haven't thought about him all weekend. Thank you.
I am so sorry.
Now I'm going to be angry all the way home.
Oh.
Madam Chair,
Get a good dinner.
point of information.
It'll make you feel better. We're at quorum call.
Point of information.
We've already
Madam
had
Chair.
the.
It regards. It has to do with the quorum call.
Okay.
We have quorum right now. If people leave the room, I'm going to have to recount because we're very close.
Okay. You can do. Is it a point of inquiry or a point of order?
It's a point of order. I was wondering what the, if the chair could ask the secretary what the methodology for determining quorum was, whether the certification of the people counted was checked or not.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the last part of it because you weren't in the mic.
I'm sorry. Was the certification of the people counted verified?
I'll tell you what. We're going to do the quorum call with everybody holding up their badges right now. Okay, we're going to do a standing count because why not? Okay, I'm going to do it this time. When I point to you,
14?
16.
17.
18, 19, Kevin, 19, Rick, 20, 21. You need to say the numbers too, not just me. Paul?
22.
No, yes. I'm ready to.
Yes, 22.
No, you're 23.
24.
Okay, Chuck?
25.
26. 27. Okay.
28. 29.
Wait. We were at 30. What was the last number? 29. I'm going to take him as 30. I'm going to take her as 31. Now I'm going to walk to 31. Okay. You are now 32. 33. 34.
63. 64. 65. Forgot Joe.
68, 69, you're 70, you're about equal.
He was first. Yes.
What color do these have to be for this vote?
That one.
Silver.
This creamish silverish.
I'm not trying to call you out, but she has a yellow.
I grabbed the wrong one. I had blue both the way up.
I know she held up the right one the first time, so I
believe so. And I don't think you counted Joe.
No, Joe counted. He counted. Either way. Okay, she has her silver one. We counted 70, which is one more than 69. We have more. Now, we are going to go to a vote. Correct? Is that where we were at? Question's been called. We're going to a vote on adopting the Statement of Principles for National. And that was just a quorum call. Now we need a 2/3 vote for that.
Point of order, Madam Chair. Are we at the point where we are determining whether or not we are going to call the question? Or are we?
We're at a vote. You're correct. We're at a vote to call the question. You are correct. It was objected to. We need to vote on calling the question.
Point of order.
Yes.
Starchild tried to make a point earlier about the impartiality required by the parliamentarian. Robert's Rules, Edition 11, Section 47. A member of an assembly who acts as its parliamentarian has the same duty as the presiding officer to maintain a position of impartiality and therefore does not make motions, participate in debate, or vote on any question except in the case of a ballot vote. That's lines 8 through 12 on page 467.
So there is a provision about the chair that says you normally don't, but you remember and you can't be deprived of those rights. So there's a section here that says same duty as presiding officer. So I was thinking that that the same rules apply. However, there is an extra sentence that says, unlike the presiding officer, you can't temporarily relinquish the position to exercise the rights. So, but I did not cast a deciding vote, and I'll refrain on this vote so we don't have an issue, okay?
It wasn't a ballot vote. Okay, so your point of your point of order is correct. She shouldn't have voted. In the end, she was not the deciding vote, so it doesn't have any consequence. But she will refrain from voting from this point forward.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Starr.
Okay. Well, given that we only have 69 people now who can possibly vote, and you need 69 people to adopt any platform committee plank at this point, and I'm already hearing there's objection to some people adopting any at this point, I move that we go on to the next order of business where we can actually do business.
Okay, I'm going to actually call that out of order, and I'm going to go to a voice count, and If there's any nays, then your point is taken and it will have died. All those in favor of adopting this, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Nay. It fails. Mr. Starr.
So I'd like to move on to the next order of business because we don't have enough votes in the room to pass any plank at this point.
We've actually, orders of the day where we were actually still in the platform committee. Well, no, we didn't have a time certain for adjournment today. However, the next order of
So I move to go on to the next item of business.
and I think that that's well taken because you're correct, because we won't be able to adopt anything. Is there any objection to moving on to the next order of business on the agenda? Yes. The adoption of what?
He's calling for division, Mrs. Chair.
It
Madam
would
Chair.
have required 100% of the people in this room to vote yes in order for it to pass.
It is almost impossible for it to have passed.
There was-
Division doesn't seem reasonable.
There was people, yeah, I'd say that's deleterious, because there was people that voted no, and they were vocal and they were loud, but all it needed was one no for it to fail. That's all it needed. Okay, so is there any objection to going on to the next order of business? I beg your pardon?
What is the next order of business, Madam?
Resolutions.
Resolutions.
No, we already finished endorsements. Next order of business is resolutions. Is there any objection to going on to the next order of business? Hearing none, are there any resolutions that anybody wants to make from the floor? Yes. Unfortunately, we've gone to the next order of business, and it. Yeah, because there was people. I mean, there were people that voted no. There was absolutely people that voted no, and it would have taken 100% of the people in the room. Okay, it's been moved and seconded to adjourn. Is there any objection to adjourning? Who objected? Okay, it's been objected to, so we're going to go to a vote. All those in favor of adjournment, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? We are adjourned. 5:13. Oh, yes. Okay, thank you everybody so much. I want to just make one really brief announcement. Really brief, really brief. We have one more Life membership open if somebody wants to buy it. We've still got those packages for a few more minutes. I want to thank all of the outgoing executive committee members that aren't going to be in the committee any longer, especially Angela McCardle for doing... Right, I'm going to get there. For being our secretary and doing a good job. I'd like to also thank our parliamentarian and the new executive committee members. Please stay in this room. We are going to have another meeting directly following this meeting. You don't have to be here like right this second. We can wait like 5 minutes, but we're going to do it in this room, and we will have our post-convention XCOM meeting.
Madam Chair, may I speak?
Okay. Okay. I'm sorry?
May I speak?
Well, we're adjourned, so you can say anything you want.
Understood.
You don't need permission.
Ladies and gentlemen, if we can get 5 volunteers to help with wrap-up, taking things out to cars, cleaning up, it'd be great to have some volunteers to help finish things up strong. Thanks for all your help, and drive safe.
It always happens. I mean, you know, chair. I'm like, oh, you guys.
The platform, I don't want to say it's irrelevant, but well, I wasn't against. Well, we gotta have something. Come on. The funny thing is, I know we don't. We can always cite the national platform.
Go for it. might be an easier way because these tables are kind of weird.
They should
It
submit
won't be
their
long.
donations.
It won't be a
They
long
should
meeting.
submit their water and
But
ground lines.
we do, there's certain
They should
rules of
debate
business
it,
that we have to
and then
take
they
care
should
of,
come
so.
to the convention and say, we want to get rid of this crap. I mean, there's a process. There's a process for doing it, but this is just a parliamentary way of avoiding the hard work of changing it the way they want it. It's another trick, at the expense of the activists and the people that don't know Robert's rules, as well as the parliamentary in their own style. Now, what can I say? Yeah, I can do something. What do you want? Just clean up this paper? I can trash paper.
Well, that'd be great. You can save as many of your index cards as you can. And trash all the other papers that are not obviously needed.
So there's 4 plus 1 now. And same other places. I just don't agree with I'm just saying, having not actually experienced the thing before, I don't know if I would be there if there's theory or if there's practice.
Well,
So there's prosecution themselves. The bottom line what I'm saying is that let's see how that goes. You're right. I also find though that I'm actually out there gathering signatures for and motivates the troops. So I just don't We'll find out. Reticent to